The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Breaking news story to tell you about. Apparently, a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center here in New York City. It happened just a few moments ago, apparently. We have very little information available at this point in time.
The first World Trade Tower collapsed.
So the building started to buckle.
We now see the collapse of the second building.
Those who make war against the United States have chosen their own destruction.
Showtime.
It's hard to believe, Cubby, 22 years has come and gone since the awful events of 9/11, 2000 plus one. A day of remembrance today, no doubt about it. 22 years has gone by. At least the rest of you can say you were in grade school or junior high or high school on that day. Josh and I were sitting in the exact same spots where we are sitting today at this very moment.
I was going to ask, you guys were on... The morning show was established by then, right? 22 years then? Mm-hmm. Okay.
For a couple of years by then. And like Nick said, so I was trying to think. I'm trying to remember where you guys were exactly, because your experience would be so much different than ours. And that's actually a lot of articles I've seen in the last few days. Is so for people, it's remembrance, like Nick and myself. We were adults when it happened. We watched it happen. And then there's people, maybe Ashley's age who more heard about it before they understood. And even my older kids were so young when it happened.
Yeah.
They have to learn about it in school more. Or, I have to try and tell them the way we remember it.
That just it never dawns on me to think that there are some people who just have to have that story told to them.
Well, it's like, think like World War II, when we learn about that in school. And for some people, it's kind of like that, where it's book learning.
I forget how, just like I just said a minute ago, it's hard to believe it's 22 years and that there are people who have to be told the story because they weren't around or they were too young to comprehend what was going on. It's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy
I was only like 3, and the only reason I know what I was doing is because I was with my mom. She said she was driving on the highway, and she knew something was up because the highway was empty. She was like, what is going on? She thought it was like the end of the world because there was nobody out.
Well, the end of the world... That feeling for me was, I lived directly under a flight path at that time, and there was no airplane noise whatsoever as all planes were grounded.
Yeah.
And that was just an eerie, strange feeling. And then you'd hear the rumble of some military planes circling, right? Just in case. Nobody knew. And you'd hear these reports like, there's a plane over here, this plane we lost contact with, and it seemed like, my God, I couldn't believe this was happening. And we mention it every year. At first, people thought it was an accident.
More than anything, I remember being wildly confused by what we were seeing on television.
The first thing we heard was a small plane. It was a small plane, and we thought, oh my gosh, what a tragedy. And you look at the hole in the World Trade Center, and it doesn't appear to be a plane that big crashed into that.
Right.
Yeah, I'll never forget that feeling. And, that's something that unfortunately, Ashley, you don't have, is just that sense of not feeling safe and just the tragedy. And then when you watch it on the news, the horrible things you see happening, different parts of the country, just that fear.
It was very difficult to comprehend at the time. It was, we had about an hour left in our broadcast when this happened. And we used to have working televisions in here.
I was just going to ask that. Did you guys actually have a TV to be watching it when it happened?
Oh, have you seen those crappy big square ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to. The Today Show was on every morning.
Okay.
That's how we noticed it. We see the smoking World Trade Center tower. Like, what the heck's going on? There's a fire there. And then we turned the sound on, and it was so confusing, and these reports were all over the place.
We had an interview to do at the time, and so in between commercials and such, we were checking out the TV, and like I already admitted, I had no idea. Terrorism wasn't anything that I even comprehended.
That didn't come to mind for me either.
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, so we're just staring at the little television in the corner of the room when we had time to. Like I said, when we went to commercial or were playing a song, And, wow, a passenger plane, small plane, crashed into this tall building. I got to be totally honest with you. I wasn't even aware of the World Trade Center. I wasn't.
No, me neither at the time.
I mean, 22 years ago, how old was I, Josh? In my late 20s?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry if that confuses anybody or you don't believe me, but I knew nothing of New York City. I didn't even know what the hell Okay, so a plane crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center, and we were just, well, how the hell does somebody crash an airplane? And I'll even admit that when the second one went in, I think I said out loud, Jesus criminy, is there something wrong with air traffic control? Why are these airplanes crashing into... I was completely oblivious to terrorism.
I was in the same boat. That's what we thought. There's some major technical issues or something crazy is going on.
Right.
Terrorism didn't come to mind.
And then we heard somebody say something or another on the television news about it. And that was when it dawned on me. There are actually people who would want to do this to us? Completely oblivious. I never followed world news. I knew nothing of anything of that sort. And then what really grabbed me, where the first time I really felt fear, was when the band we had live in studio rushed out of here to get on their telephones and call their friends in New York. The band that was in studio at the time was Live. Lightning Crashes, what were their other hits at the time? Live said, F this interview, and they rushed out of here to get on their cell phones and call their friends in New York City. And that's when I thought, okay, this is something beyond what I can comprehend. And this is a much, much bigger deal than I'd ever experienced in my life.
The world changed.
Absolutely.
I mean, definitively, the world was completely different on that day.
That's interesting, Josh, what you brought up. And I would love to hear or read some of the stories that you said you read online about this is how an 8-year-old comprehended it, or a 75-year-old, or a 17-year-old. Yes, Wapple?
I was 9 when it happened, so I was in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually very interested when my youngest gets home from school today to hear, do they watch any of the footage? What did they talk about? How it was discussed? If they had any, like a remembrance ceremony, a moment of silence, something like that. I wonder how that'll go.
When I was in high school, they used to, I don't know exactly what it's called, but they would have the kids that were in like ROTC, like hold flags all day. Like they would go in like rotation. They would stand in like a line with American flags or something like that.
What happened now?
To like honor the people that were lost on 9/11. They would.
At school?
Yeah, in my high school. So I wonder if they still do stuff like that.
Yeah, probably.
I remember after the show my girlfriend at the time worked downtown, and my mom
She was pretty
too.
hot. I know this is a day of remembrance, and let's remember that Josh's girlfriend at the time was pretty smoking hot.
She wasn't bad looking. And I remember saying, get out of downtown. There's a few people that have texted in and said the same thing. They were downtown, and they thought, I got to go. We had no idea how far this thing was going to go. And I
totally woke me up to things that I didn't even know were happening.
Me too, and I felt stupid. I learned a lot about different parts of the world. That's for sure. And I learned a lot about, you and I are the furthest from someone who would have any interest in politics whatsoever.
Oh, hell no. Anyway, go ahead.
But I learned like all the names of different politicians, and I learned, their roles in government and stuff. Because, I was early 20s as well.
Yeah, my whole life, whenever I got the newspaper, I threw everything away but the sports page. I had no idea that we had these kinds of things going on. You were in the same boat.
Fun Size She's has asked if I've ever been to the memorial. I haven't. And that's the only real reason I'd want to go to New York.
I highly, highly recommend anybody who has the opportunity to go check that out, do it.
I've seen the traveling one.
Yeah, it's absolutely mesmerizing.
I've heard that.
Just so emotional.
I wish, I don't know. I wish it wasn't in New York, but what are you going to do?
What are they put in like Hershey, Pennsylvania or something like that? It makes sense it's in New York.
Yeah, a few people texting in and say they learned it on this stupid show.
Yeah, 80s Kurt Rambis fan Jesus said, I remember your broadcast that morning. I woke up with your show on. I heard you guys talking about it. I thought it was a bit. Sorry, heart palpitation. Thought it was a bit. Turned on the television, he says, and I crapped my pants.
A few people in the listening audience are saying that's what caused them to enlist after that. And you know what? That was a popular feeling as well.
Pickle Rick joined the Navy after 9/11. Our listener, Pickle Rick, joined the Navy, and there was a big uptick in folks joining the service. They wanted to straighten things out, you know. They wanted to choke a few folks out. And he said he fought terrorism by preparing one omelet at a time in the Navy kitchen.
Well, every little bit helps.
Everybody's got a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that was a hell of a day.
I was 16 when it happened, so I was in high school, and we watched it on TV all day long. That's every class, you know, classes still went on by normal. Bell would ring, you go to the next class, and the teacher would have it on. Everybody just kind of sat there in silence, and we all kind of watched, not knowing what, like anybody else, what the heck was going on.
The original Toolmaker Jesus said radio was very different for the next few days. It was more than a few days.
Yeah, it was a long time.
The better part of a month before we would even try and joke. Mm-hmm. And not only did it seem inappropriate, you know, we just had no interest in doing something like that.
Right. I remember when David Letterman came back on the air after a few days, he had a very emotional monologue as he was one to do when, you know, an event like this would unfold. And I remember his first joke, he gives his very impassioned speech, his monologue, and then he goes, well, we're going to do our best to do a show tonight. Regis Philbin is here, so at least we have something to make fun of. that was like his first crack at like an actual kind of joke since it happened. I remember kind of chuckling at that, thinking like, okay, maybe we can have a little bit of laughs here.
Metal Grinding, Deburring Jesus said he witnessed the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania. He watched it fly right over his workplace at the time.
I'll be damned. Yeah, it was about the worst experience that we'd ever had around here. So, 22 damn years ago.
Eric texted in here and said he thinks post 9/11, it was the last time the country really felt united, and I do miss that feeling where everyone was together.
No doubt about it.
Sure is not quite that way anymore.
No, we've become a mess. But you're right. It was pretty cool to see everybody chipping in, lending a hand one way or another.
I could be wrong, but Nick, wasn't WWE kind of one of the first people that came back?
Well, yeah, because you're right. The NFL shut down, right?
Yeah.
Baseball.
And I thought, like, I have a kind of a vague memory of Vince McMahon saying that, like, they wanted to bring a beacon of hope in a time of, like, tragedy or something like that.
That sounds like something that Vinny K would say. I don't remember specifics, Wapple, but yeah, I think you are right. I think, the other big league sports, baseball and football that were happening at the time in September of 2001 took a week off or something like that. I don't think WWE took any time off. I've mentioned before, watching the first Raw and SmackDown after 9/11 was really emotional stuff and really well done on the WWE's parts, hearing from some of the wrestlers who just sat down in front of a camera and expressed their thoughts and feelings on the terrorist attacks. Some of them, were ex-military. A lot of them had friends in the military. A lot of them had friends in New York City. A lot of them had friends die that day. And watching some of them just up and say whatever was on their minds at the time was really gripping stuff. And I thought some of the best stuff that WWE's ever done. JBL had me so fired up, I was going to grab whatever weapons I could get my hands on, get on a boat, and go try to find some terrorists. JBL almost had me walking around town wearing red, white, and blue 24/7. He was so friggin' jacked up and ready to... I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, Wapple,
I remember JBL saying something like, whoever you are, we're going to get you, dude. We're going to kill you, you son of a bitch. And I'm at home on my couch going, yeah, kill the bastards. Let's go. I'll go with you, JBL.
Yeah, Wapple, you're right. SmackDown was live just 2 days after 9/11.
That's what I thought.
Man. Cubby's girlfriend back then was pretty damn hot.
If there was a silver lining.
What else is going on? How was everyone's weekend?
Good.
Yeah,
had a
wonderful.
good weekend.
Yeah,
I got to go to
really
the
good.
Vikings game yesterday. That
The
was pretty
Vikings
cool.
game.
It was pretty cool and then pretty sad.
My family
There
was
was
there.
sadness.
Yeah, because they lost.
They did.
Gosh darn it.
They were.
They sure. Baker Mayfield beat the Minnesota Vikings.
Dude, stop. He can't even throw a ball. It's not even fair.
Nick, in a way, had money on the game.
Yeah.
Because now he has to buy a Baker Mayfield jersey.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm pretty
That's
excited
awesome.
about it. I have to be honest with you. I'm pretty excited about it.
I am too. I wanted the Vikings to win. I was disappointed when
What?
they didn't. I was a little embarrassed for
Wanted
my
them
team.
to win.
Of course I did. But that was the positive. It's like, well, if they do lose, which, my God, it looks like they're going to lose, Nick will have to buy a jersey of Baker Mayfield.
That does make me feel better.
Dana already sent a link to me, and maybe someone after the show today can order it for me because I don't know how to order things on the internet.
We'll get you sorted.
Link to the jersey.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, of course, if you're talking Tampa Bay Buccaneer jerseys, I got to go to back if they sell them. It looks like they do. They sell the old orange ones.
Yeah, the
Yeah, they
creamsicle.
do. A bunch of people were wearing them.
Mm-hmm.
I want one of the orange ones from the old days, like from when Doug Williams was their quarterback back in the 70s and early 80s. So that's what I'm going for. People have been texting in saying, what jersey are you getting? I got to get the old orange one, and then I'll wear it on the Infect the River cruise.
Was there a Gophers player that was on the Buccaneers?
Antoine Winfield.
Okay, yeah.
currently,
because, my
yeah.
boyfriend pointed out that he's like, that's a sick jersey because he had the creamsicle color with that guy's name on the back.
Antoine Winfield, yeah, we talked about him last
his
week.
His dad was one of my favorite Vikings.
He was awesome.
You did like
Antoine Winfield.
Antoine Part 1, right? The same name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're the
name.
same height. And I thought, if he can do it, being an incredible defenseman, why couldn't I?
Lack of God-given ability.
Probably that. Never being on a real football team might be part of it. Boy, I loved his dad.
He could play. I think his
And
son,
Junior is pretty good, too.
I think he's even better than his dad.
You think so?
His
Yes,
name
I
got
do.
called quite a few times yesterday.
It did.
Yes, I do. I
He
think
looked
he's even
awesome.
So yeah, I'm excited to get that new Baker Mayfield jersey. I didn't see much of the game. I was watching the first half, and then I fell smooth asleep and slept through the second half. And I flipped on the television to see that the final was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20 and the Vikings 17. And I said to myself, well, someone's going to have to show me how to use the internet because I've got to get a football jersey by September. When do we get on that boat?
The
Next
22nd.
2 weeks from Friday or a week from Friday? Week from Friday.
Week from Friday
Holy
already.
smokes.
wow.
It's coming up quick. I had a strange experience. I know, Nick, you've had this as well. Terrifying experience.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to hear about it.
Luckily, everybody's okay from what I know. But I was on my way. This is going to sound like a lie, but I was on my way to a party Saturday night.
Saturday night, you're on your way to a party. I
was
you.
invited.
Were you being held hostage?
I left the house, all that kind of stuff. So I was on my way to a party. And as I'm exiting the freeway, this elderly woman was entering the freeway on the exit ramp, going the wrong way. So, I mean, I'm honking my horn at her. You know, I moved to one side. She kind of moves to the other side, but she didn't stop. So eventually, I heard nothing about it. There was no crashing, nothing like that.
So she went racing down the off-ramp to enter the freeway in the wrong direction.
And she's accelerating
Yes.
the wrong direction.
No.
Son of a bee.
So-
Did you check out your rearview mirror?
Oh,
for...
yeah, I watched the whole way.
What happened?
I crashed into a pole. I was looking in the... No, I didn't. That didn't happen.
Did
But yeah, so she ended up pulling over on the shoulder when she got on. But if somebody else was coming off that exit ramp, especially where there's a kind of a blind corner.
So it dawned on her that she was...
Yeah, I believe so.
Ooh-wee.
And she could barely see over the steering wheel, little old lady.
You only go... Cubby goes to a party once every 12 years,
Well, and that's exactly.
and
And I
this
thought, this
gal
is what I
tries
get.
to kill you.
This is what I get. My fault.
Did you turn to the people I don't know who you're with, but you turn to the people and see this is why I don't leave the house, okay?
Pretty much.
He was with that girlfriend from back in 2001.
She doesn't look as good.
No.
It's been a long time, as we mentioned. It's been a long time.
You look even better than you did in 2001. How was the party?
Oh, it was fun. It was great, actually.
Did you go to your high school reunion?
It was the pre-party to the reunion. Yeah,
So you went to both?
No, I couldn't go to the actual reunion. We had something else going on, but it was the pre-party. Stayed out till like 10 p.m.
Whoa. That was a pre-party?
Yeah,
Yeah,
wait.
well, they were way late. the guys I was with, it started at 7, and then they realized, we're drunk enough, we could go to the party.
Last week, off air, Josh was debating whether he should attend anything connected to his high school reunion, and I kept telling him, yes, absolutely. I love those events. I've never missed those events. I dig reconnecting with people from high school. You were kind of on the fence, but you decided to at least attend something revolving around your high school reunion. You enjoyed it?
Oh, yeah, it was a blast.
So a bunch of folks were at a bar before the...
it was at a guy's house. Yeah, like a little house.
Oh, that's great. Did you see anybody you hadn't seen in 30 years?
I saw 2 people I haven't seen in close to 20 years at least.
I love that stuff. I don't know why some people are so against it. I'm not. Why do I want to hang out with those? I wouldn't even recognize anybody. No one's going to know me. I know dudes who, you mention a high school reunion, they look at you like you're crazy. They want nothing to do. I don't know what it is. It kind of
sounded like not a lot of people went, or maybe just because these guys showed up so late. But
I dig it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would have no interest.
Why?
I don't know. I only had like a group of friends. I could get together with them. They're the ones I care about.
But so it doesn't interest you at all to be like, oh, Gary, we never knew each other, but damn, how you doing?
No, not really.
My favorite part, though, is we picked up where we left off. That was great, right? It was like, there's no awkwardness, nothing. It was great to see everybody. Had a lot of fun. I love these guys, But my favorite part was when we're all discussing how our bodies are falling apart. We reminisce about some really good times we had in the past, and then, I got this issue, or I got to go here for this, and then they're showing pictures, and people are putting glasses on and stuff like that. That was my favorite part.
That is nice.
I don't know. I enjoy getting to know people that I never did know. Back. I
got real close with someone at one of my reunions who I never really knew in high school. We didn't run around in the same.
I don't care if any of my core group of friends show up. I see those idiots all the time. I've enjoyed being like, oh Christ, yeah, you were the dude who drove the Chevy Citation, and you had a backwards hat on every day. Hey man, so how you been? I don't know. I'm a sucker for that stuff, and it's a shame. I'll tell you what's a shame is for whatever reason my class, I guess, hated each other. Because every reunion we've had's gotten smaller and smaller. I think I graduated with like near 600 kids. The last reunion we had, there's like 15 people there.
Yeah.
I don't know why no one wants to go to these things.
We had like 150 or less in our class. And
I don't know. I just think they're a blast.
We've never had a reunion. You've
never been invited to one. That's the difference.
No,
my bell go.
My 10-year reunion would have been during COVID.
Oh. So you didn't have a 5?
No, we never had a 5-year reunion, and then the 10-year would have been during COVID.
Yeah, we had to skip one because of COVID.
You had a 5-year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Nick said that before when we were going to the state fair or something, and I was like, wow, I've never heard of a 5-year.
Yeah, I was there to really talk about, I went to college. We're all kind of broke
I saw you last week.
Nice. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I've loved them all.
Well, the ones I've gone to, I've had a blast. It was fun. I couldn't go to the actual reunion part, but seeing those guys.
And everyone usually says the same thing about a 5 reunion. Well, what's the big deal? We just saw each other. I'll tell you what the big deal is. You should embrace, for younger people out there, embrace your 5-year reunion because, what is it? What are you, 23 years old at your 5-year reunion? You can still party your balls off when you're 23.
True.
Wait till the 25th or the 30th. Everyone goes home at 9:30.
And it's interesting to hear, or just to see the transformation from people you might not have seen in 10, 20, or now 30 years. There was a couple there, they're like, I had no idea who the old guy at the table was. They had no clue who a couple people were.
I'm glad you went.
No, yeah, I am too. It was fun.
I went to one with a girlfriend once. Went to her reunion, and I played it up like I was part of the class. I was like, "You don't remember me?"
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah. that is. We had a guy. I've told this on this show before, but I've talked to Nick about it for sure. There was a guy at our 10-year reunion who was coming up to people saying, "You don't remember me, do you?"
Oh no, not those guys.
And I'm like, dude. You've got a friggin' name tag on, right? We had name tags on the tent, which was kind of weird now that I think about it. We just graduated. I did. Anyways, this guy, and he wasn't, I thought he came to me, and I thought maybe he just meant me, but no, he was going around to everybody. It was the oddest thing.
That's so weird. Don't do that.
Being a fan of high school reunions, every reunion's got that guy who wants to guilt trip you at the event because you didn't pay enough attention to him back in high school.
Right.
Every reunion has that. You don't remember me, do you, person?
There were
Go home
there
already.
were 650 kids in our graduating class. No, I didn't get the time to create memories with each and every one of you.
People are texting in good points, and I've heard this before as well. Social media has kind of killed these reunions.
It has.
Because you're keeping in touch with people maybe you wouldn't talk to on a daily basis.
And
I know what everyone's doing and who's having babies,
Part of the appeal, I think, back in the day was to go see what everybody was up to. Now, because of Facebook, everybody just kind of knows what everybody's been up to.
That's too bad, though.
Too much, too.
Obviously, that makes sense, but that's too bad because, poking your computer and saying, oh, this guy's got 3 kids and lives in Wyoming isn't the same as having a face-to-face conversation with somebody. It's a damn shame that we think of, oh, well, I can just keep up with them on Facebook as the same thing as having a face-to-face conversation.
Yeah.
It's a lot of reasons why we are all effed up these days because everyone's so friggin' obsessed with social media.
I'd like to have a grade school reunion. Mine went K through 8, and so, I spent a lot of time with those people. And I would love to have a reunion of some of them.
Oh, hell yeah, like your second grade class.
Well, no, most of them went the whole time.
Mine too, but so what are you saying?
I thought I just said, I'd like to have a reunion for that, right? Because I went K through 8 with these kids. That'd be great if we had a reunion like you would a high school one.
Sure, absolutely. They're always fun, despite some goofy bastards always being like, you were kind of a dick back then. Okay, well, that was 33 years ago. Do you think you might give me a second chance? Or we're just going to...
That's weird that somebody would hold on to that long. You'd hope they've had stuff in between that maybe made them forget about that.
Yeah. What a hell of a deal. What is it then, Monday?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose we ought to get moving. We got Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder swinging by later. It's going to be a hell of a deal. And for those of you who were... banking on me, getting my hands on that Baker Mayfield jersey. I'll have somebody here who knows how to run the internet jump on it later and get me all ready for the Infect the River party. So there you go. Thanks for joining us. We'll take a little breather and come back in a minute here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, Minnesota. CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.
Stacking Benjamins with Joe and his good friend OG not only has great financial insight, it's laid back with humor too.
The Len Penzo sandwich survey.
I wanted to know, was it really cheaper to brown bag it every day, or was it cheaper to go through the school lunch?
And the most expensive sandwich of all,
46% increase. This is the first time a sandwich has ever touched $5. Before anybody gags on that, though, it's a great sandwich.
Find out more by searching the Stacking Benjamins podcast, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, you goofy bastards. You want the stupid news, huh? You want it?
Yeah, let's do it.
You got it. God. You got it. Let's get some Kleenex over here. Josh and I both sound like 85-year-old men over here off the air.
Clearing throats, blowing noses.
God, it's terrible.
I had a nose blow, too.
It's terrible in here. All right, stupid news. As if we weren't already overrun by dangerous, derelict, garbage human beings around here. Now people are coming up with new reasons to be violent. At least new to me. A couple weeks ago, a man was stabbed multiple times while fishing the Colorado River because, follow this now if you can, dude stabbed another man, or this dude was stabbed because he didn't refer to a man who was with him by that man's preferred nickname. Do you see how you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife was just telling me yesterday, there's someone who he insist you call him by his nickname. All right? And I'm not gonna say his exact name, but I'll say the part, and you'll realize the nickname part. All right. So, like, if you were Nick Dog. So if I said, "Hey Nick, can you help me with this?" You'd be like, "No, it's Nick Dog."
Oh God.
Oh,
you will call me Nick Dog.
It's terrible.
That's rough.
So awful, yeah.
This is a grown man.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now I must say, there's my oldest. He went to school with a kid that went by King Money, and I'll tell you what, that's awesome.
Yeah,
King
that's
Money
pretty cool.
in
You
like
only
7th
call him
grade.
that, yes.
King Money. He had that confidence in 7th grade. I love King Money.
I would just give that kid money, or I would give King Money all the money I have.
He doesn't need it. He's King Money. He'd give you money.
This dude that did the stabbing must really dig his nickname. Now, you want to know the guy's nickname, that he's so in love with it that he stabbed another man several times over?
Sure.
Deaf. But it's D-E-A-F, not D-E-F, which...
it makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. D-E-F was like a hip thing 20 years ago. I don't exactly know what it meant.
Def Comedy Jam?
Well, yeah, but what does it mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, see, I remember the Def Comedy Jam, but what was DEF, Def? What was that meant to mean? Like cool?
Yeah, I think just cool.
Like, this is Def. Was it short for definitely? Maybe someone can look that up. This guy's nickname, DEAF, Def. And the word is deaf, quote, felt disrespected by the fact that the victim did not call him deaf. And that's one of my favorite bits of the last 25 years or so, too, is the people who demand instant respect, no matter what kind of person they are, instead of earning it like they should. They demand respect from everyone despite having none to give in return to anyone. I love that bit. This guy, Def, is partially hearing impaired. That's why he likes to be called Def.
That's why I think it would be hard for me to call him Deaf. I feel like I was making fun of him in some way.
And these two didn't know each other. It's not like these are two old buddies fishing the Colorado River side by side. They just happened to be fishing in the same general area, got to know each other. Dude's like, my name is Def. And the other guy didn't, maybe for the reason you just explained, Josh.
I would assume I was being set up.
Yeah, the other guy said, I'm not going to call you that. Seeing how he wouldn't call the guy Def, Def pulls out a knife and he slashes the tires on the other guy's vehicle. Dude goes over to confront him. Dude, what are you doing to my... And then Def goes in with the knife and stabs the other guy. And this dude got carved up pretty good. He had to be airlifted out of there because he was bleeding so badly. He ran to somebody's house. They called and then they had to airlift him out of there. He's all right now. Stupid Def, the violent lunatic, he ran away from the scene like a bitch, but he was eventually caught.
It was weird. He stabbed him in the calf, which is odd.
That is not a place to get stabbed.
I wouldn't expect that.
Try to run away from this.
Yeah, I think like
limp.
the gut or
Now
something.
he's limp.
Yeah.
You got limp and deaf over there.
Man.
Dana, don't you have the nickname Limp, but for different reasons?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's erectile dysfunction based.
You've earned it. It is? Is that what it is?
More garbage humans here for you. This guy is special, too, I think, because he might be just as stupid as he is violently dangerous. A Las Vegas rapper who allegedly killed a man and then mentioned it in a song has been arrested. That's effing brilliant, right?
Yeah.
So you killed a guy, huh? Yeah, I killed the guy. You probably should keep that a secret, huh? You killed a guy. Yeah, I probably should. Well, and I will, but first I need to mention it in the lyrics of one of my terrible songs, and then I'll cut the song loose on the internet, and then I'll keep it a secret.
Can't believe somebody listened to that song long enough to get to the part where he admitted he murdered somebody.
Well,
he's got to brag about it.
The only people who bothered with it, Dana, were the police.
Yeah.
They had to. They had to investigate. Other than that, there'd be no reason to listen to that song. Las Vegas police said this dude, who is called Ken Juan McDaniel, he was arrested August 29th in connection with the death of a fella named Randall Wallace. And McDaniel, the rapper, has now been charged with murder. In September of 20+21, cops found this Wallace guy shot dead. McDaniel was later identified as a suspect. On July 17th this year, just a couple months ago, 2023, an investigator found a YouTube video titled Fadee Free, F-A-D-E-E, Fadee Fatty?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Fadee Free. So they're investigating this McDaniel guy. He puts a video up on YouTube of Fadee Free or Fatty Free. In the lyrics, Josh just played them. He said, "I be the reason why he's dead. We still taunt him when he die. Not the reason he's dead. So celebrate the reason why his mama cry."
Brutal.
Investigators.
From what I understood of it, brutal.
I'm not sure what he's saying there. Investigators said the lyrics, allegedly written by McDaniel, take credit for the killing of Wallace, and the lyrics include information about the killing that was never released to the public. You just simply can't make up that kind of arrogance and stupidity right there.
I love when they do it to themselves.
Yeah, the owning of oneself is pretty entertaining, especially when this person had it coming.
Well, I just hope that he's able to continue to put out albums while in prison.
He'll have a lot of time to write.
They find a way.
You ever own yourself, Josh?
I'm sure I have. I can't think of an example, but
yeah, we've all owned ourselves to one level or another. I've heard of one or two of these deals before. I've heard of this once or twice, and it's always fun. A lady down there in god-awful Florida. All she wants to do is go ahead and file a tax return, but the IRS won't process jack squat for this lady because they claim she's dead. Lois Anderson is the name of this lady. She just wants to get the miserable process over, like the rest of us. The miserable process of filing a tax return. But Uncle Sam says, nope, you're deader than Derringer.
Well, if she owes him taxes, maybe this could be a good thing. The government thinks you're dead, no more taxes, baby.
Yeah.
Well, once they figure it out, I'd imagine they're going to charge her all those late fees.
True.
Nah, that's not like them.
What is this? The Internal Revenue Service. They asked Lois. When she filed her return, they sent a letter back asking her, why did you file your tax return again? We can't accept it because you're dead. This has been going on for 3 years. In October of 2020, Lois got a letter from Social Security saying she would no longer receive Social Security benefits because she's been declared dead. And Social Security told her that a family member or a funeral home must have reported her dead. Maybe this is a prank. One of her family members is playing a prank on her. Maybe, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If that's the way it played out, a family member or a funeral home, Lois had to go to the Social Security office a couple times, and they did declare her alive again. So they fixed things on their end, but the IRS can't seem to get right. She has sent them all of the information they need over and over again, according to Lois, but they still keep getting back to her, saying that she took a dirt nap a couple years ago. Well, maybe she is dead.
Like she's a zombie?
Well, I mean, just think about it. This lady insists that she's alive, but we're taking her word over that of the United States government. Maybe she is dead.
I mean, what evidence do we have when we discuss this with her and see her very much alive, then she isn't dead? The opposite thing can happen, too. I remember when my dad passed, my mom had a hell of a time trying to convince, powers that be that my dad had passed. And it was really difficult. And there were some places they're like, no, we don't have any records of that. And you show them the death certificate, all that kind of stuff. And it was a pain.
Wow. Yeah, that doesn't make the process any easier, does it?
Yeah, you're already mourning.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he passed. No, he didn't.
That's
I assure you he
document.
did.
There's got to be some benefits to the government thinking that you're dead. Can anyone come up with anything fun?
Well, like Ashley's, let's say they just never figured it out and you're not, you don't have to pay taxes.
All right, there you go.
Like
You're not
that.
paying taxes.
I mean, I suppose
The biggest one.
You're she was a little older, so maybe Social Security's gone. That's probably not going to work. They're not going to pay that to a dead person, I don't think.
Yeah.
I guess you don't have to do jury duty.
No.
There you go.
Anything to get out of jury duty.
That's a good one. That's a good one because jury duty sucks.
That's right. You went through it recently.
I hated it. And there's got to be some benefits to being dead or perceived dead. Not as many benefits, not even close to being invisible, of course. That's the ultimate dream,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's different.
To be invisible.
Asian Cop Jesus checked in on our previous story about the guy that owned himself by rapping about a murder he committed, including information that only the murderer would know. So Asian Cop Jesus said rappers posting their criminal exploits on social media is pretty common as an occurrence. As I've always said, we never caught the smart ones.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be funny if that lady, witnessed a murder and then no one would believe her testament? Nope, sorry, you're dead. We don't believe you.
Wait a minute, we're crossing two stories now?
Yeah.
The lady
I went back to the lady who was considered dead.
Yeah, the IRS thinks she's dead. Now she's involved in that rapper story?
No.
Well, could she release a rap album?
I'm not sure where you're going with that.
I'm just saying, what if she witnessed a murder?
Oh, any murder,
Yeah.
not necessarily the rapper murder.
Yeah, then they want her on stand and nope, sorry, you're dead. We can't take your witness testimony.
Yeah, people are, okay, on this topic, unless Lucky and Wisco Jesus. My grandpa died when COVID hit. My mom is still dealing with places that say, no, he's alive, and we need to keep proving he's dead with death certificates.
Just believe me. Why would you want to lie?
Just drag the coffin up in there.
Look.
Yeah, at that point.
And
Yeah.
people are saying they get charged fees for after certain providers will charge fees after their loved ones pass away.
Oh, to cancel certain things? Yeah, that sucks.
And here's a listener that says, you don't need to be dead to avoid jury duty, just felonious.
Yeah, there you go.
I am felonious.
Whip it out in front of a judge, Wapple. Is that a felony?
Yeah, I think it would be.
I think with what you're packing, it would be.
Oh,
big boy. Big boy.
Yeah. You could see it from a mile.
Gross.
That's got to be.
That's too big.
That's got to be a slight exaggeration.
We need to go to a doctor about that.
And it must be a clear day as well.
Hey, more scumbags. More derelict criminals here for you. But at least this story of garbage human beings comes with an exciting video that I hope we can see up on 93x.com. The Philadelphia story, your name again over there is Ashley?
Yep, that's my name. Philadelphia story.
Phil, I don't want to give away too much. The
Oh,
guy,
okay.
he's from a different part of the world. He's talking. There's noises. There's sound. There's
I think you
video.
posted that.
Philadelphia. There's a car. He's running.
I've got the sound.
Let's go with yes.
You don't have any idea what I'm talking about?
No.
She posts a lot of video.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just tell the story then. But it does come with an exciting video. Trust us. We'll get it up on the 93x.com, our silly little website. We'll get it over there in a minute or two. Philadelphia police are investigating this deal and trying to find out who the bad guys are here. In the video, a dude goes sprinting down the street after the dumb, stupid dildos who stole his car in broad daylight. He's just running down the street. He catches him. He tries to get back in his car, and he even hangs onto the damn car as the thieves punch the gas and go flying down the street. Now, the poor bastard who got his vehicle swiped is a Ukrainian fella by the name of Igor Kostachenko, who, by the way, F's around with that mixed martial arts.
Oh, that's always a great idea to steal from those people.
Well, the thieves didn't know that.
I bet if they did, they would have picked a different car.
Right.
His name is even scary.
Well, they didn't know his name either.
Intimidating.
You can tell you haven't seen this video.
He's definitely jacked.
But he's training to fight in the big league. So you're right about one thing. The pukes who stole this ride are pretty lucky he didn't get his hands on him, or every one of them would have been probably put straight to sleep. When Igor, or maybe it's Igor. I suppose it could be. Let's go with Igor. When Igor was hanging onto his whip, as it went flying down the street, the bitches who stole it shot at him to get him to let go. Luckily, the shots missed Igor. He was working his side gig at the time as a food delivery driver, and the douchebags pounced on his car when he wasn't looking. He was parked and left the car running. Now, that was a bad idea, but at the same time, it's a damn shame you can't leave your car running for 3 minutes without some group of butt plugs stealing your effing ride. A witness who saw the thieves get in the car started taking video, and that video is part of the investigation. And you can see in the video the car driving away, Igor running after him. Igor catches up to him just like I described. They punch the gas. Igor is still hanging onto the car. You don't see the shots get fired, but eventually he lets go because he figures, okay, I'm not going to die over this car.
He's been in this country for, I think, maybe a year now, and he's been robbed twice.
I see for people sit my car and go forward. I grab my door, say stop car, it's my car, say don't touch car, I kill you.
It's Igor. The local television news covered this story. That was one of Igor's buddies there saying he's been in the country for a year and he's been robbed twice. Isn't that nice?
That's not right.
We suck around here. Igor's wallet, his telephone, all of his training gear was up inside the car, but his MMA pals have rallied around him. They've created a GoFundMe page to help a Ukrainian player out.
That's what I need. I need some MMA pals.
Yeah, they'd be good in certain situations. Police don't advise anyone to confront carjackers. And Igor even said he knew it wasn't a good idea to do what he did, but just like say when Cubby sees fly honeys on the sidewalk, the adrenaline took over is what happened.
My brain just shuts down.
Yeah.
Instinct takes over.
Just like when Josh sees fly honeys, he was just going on adrenaline. Pretty dramatic stuff. If we ever let us know when you get that video up on the website.
It's up there now.
Oh, that was pretty fast.
Yes, speedy.
Now here's a wacky ass deal right here. I haven't heard something like this before. I don't think I've ever heard anything like this before, and it's pretty funny. Last Wednesday, Salt Lake City, Utah police sent out some kind of a warning to folks. I don't know if it was a text message or how things work these days, but they sent out some kind of warning to citizens about someone possibly impersonating a police officer. They said a black Dodge Charger, huh?
Nice.
Yeah.
Typical cop car, yeah.
A black Dodge Charger was whipping around town with red and blue flashing lights embedded in its fog lights, and other drivers were pulling over believing it was a police car.
I'd probably pull over, yeah.
At the time, cops said they didn't know for sure if the driver was trying to pull other cars over to be, nefarious? Is that the right word, Josh?
That works for me.
They didn't know if this individual was trying to pull people over to molest them, or, you know what I'm talking, or they didn't know if this was just some dickhead trying to get cars out of their way so they could move through traffic quicker. But either way, they put out this alert saying, look out for a black Dodge Charger with the red and white blinking lights and the fog lights. Police cut loose with a picture of the vehicle on social media so folks could look out for the prick. Now cops are saying the whole thing was an innocent mistake. The woman who owns the vehicle contacted the Salt Lake City police after recognizing her car in the picture as her own. She told the effing cops she'd recently purchased the vehicle and did not know about the lights or the smartphone app that was activated to control them.
Poor lady.
The app can change the colors of the lights and apparently was last set to a red-blue flashing type of a gimmick. That's effing hilarious.
The vehicle appeared, it looked suspicious to this individual. So they took a photo of the car and they called 911 to report the suspicious circumstance.
Was that the Utah authorities?
Yes.
You know those situations where, like, someone realizes, like, they're getting pulled over and that the cop isn't. They're just not comfortable with it. They don't think it's a real cop, and they'll keep going and call 911. I don't think I have enough, like, courage, or I guess I don't trust myself enough to be able to spot a fake cop car. They would get me 100% of the time.
Oh, you're not alone.
I'd be way too afraid to keep driving and, like, call 911 to verify. I'd be like, I'm in a high-speed chase now.
I would pull over to flashing lights every time.
Yeah. They don't even have to be red and blue, to be honest.
I pulled over for a Domino's guy the other day, actually. I know what you're talking about.
That is very funny that this gal goes and buys a car. She knows nothing about this flashing lights gimmick, nothing about this smartphone app. For God's sake, I don't even know what that means, a smartphone. I would be completely lost at the The gal said, while she was driving around, just headed out to have some lunch, she noticed cars pulling over in front of her, and she had no effing idea why. That's great. I bet she was looking in her rearview mirror going, well, what the hell is coming up behind? Why is everyone pulling over? And police believed her. As soon as she could, she had the lights removed from the vehicle. That's funny.
Yeah, I wonder how many times she looked in her rearview mirror to see, oh, is there an emergency vehicle coming? Do I need to pull over as well?
Right.
But I didn't know you could control your lights with an app.
Yeah, I didn't either.
That's kind of sweet.
I don't think my car has that feature.
Nah, your car barely runs.
And it does.
All right. That is good. You know we're big supporters of sedentary life here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
I've recently got into some corpse cosplay. I just lay there and play dead. Can spend hours doing it.
Yeah, you're good at it, too. One of the best in town.
The sedentary lifestyle. Little to no exercise. That's basically it. That's basically the gimmick to the sedentary life. A friend of mine who died many years ago due to a sedentary life. So you know that lifestyle does have its risks. But he had a motto that I've tried to follow in tribute to him since he died. He used to say, why stand up when you could sit down, and why sit down when you could lie down?
I use that so much from learning it from you, Nick.
Isn't that a beautiful slogan?
It's so true, too.
Mm-hmm. But like I say, it's not for everyone. It did kill him. Then there's the other, speaking of, laziness. Some call it laziness. Personally, I don't like to use that word, but I'll have to go along with it here. It helps the story. I told you once that Big Al was walking around a beer party once when we were young, and he was pretty drunk. He was pretty tuned up. And there were 4 or 5 strangers sitting on a couch in this house. We didn't know everybody at the party. And Al had never met these people, and he walks up to these 4 or 5 people sitting on the couch, and he said, if you folks would get up and go somewhere else, I could lie down right now.
He's not wrong.
I mean, I looked it up, and who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, the sedentary lifestyle. I did a gig over the weekend at Planet Fitness grand opening in Coon Rapids. Beautiful spot, by the way.
Planet Fitness?
Yeah, and I walked in, I'm like, haven't seen one of these in a while.
What was it?
It's a gym.
Oh, a gym. Oh, I thought you meant like a specific...
No, just a gym in general. I was like, oh, yeah, it's just treadmills and weights. Yeah, I remember those.
Did you wear yoga pants or anything?
Oh, yeah.
Good for you.
Tight yoga pants, no
Josh,
shirt.
do you have any comments? Do you have any comments on Planet Fitness?
I was a member for a while.
I go there. I like it. It's all purple. It's pretty.
It is purple.
All right, here's the deal. And again, I don't like the word lazy or laziness. I don't like to use that word, but I'm going to have to. This here is how we separate the sedentary men from the sedentary boys, by God. There's a village in Montenegro, wherever that is. And they hold an annual contest where competitors hope to earn the coveted title of the laziest citizen. The winner also gets about $1,000. But it doesn't sound like this is about the money. This is about the prestige of being the laziest citizen of whatever Montenegro is.
I'm going to argue that they aren't the laziest citizens.
You don't think so?
I think the laziest would be the one that's like, it's too much work to enter a contest.
Agreed.
I never looked at it that way.
Also, Montenegro, do you know who's from there?
I'm going to go with I'm going to take a guess at this. I'm going to say LL Cool J.
Really?
Yes.
I never knew.
Is it LL Cool J?
It is. LL Cool J and Nikola Pekovic.
The Pecker?
Yeah. I know you like that guy.
You would have thought I would have remembered that.
LL Cool J's not from there.
No, he's not. I made that part.
But the Pecker is?
Yeah, he is.
I love the Pecker.
Mm-hmm.
I still love the Pecker. So where am I going with this? They've been doing this contest for 12 years now.
Wow. That's a long time to lay down.
Oh, no, not this one contest. They've been doing it every year for... I should be
JKLOL.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm aware.
And this started as a way to mock a myth that Montenegrins are lazy people. Now, the contest is going on right now. It does take a while, I guess. This year, there are 7 remaining contestants. Contestants is how you say it. There's 7 left who have been lying down on mats for more than 20 straight days and counting. They've already smashed last year's record of total hours lying smooth down on a mat. They can finger bang their cell phones and their laptops. They can eat, drink, read, whatever you want to do. But they're not allowed to sit up or stand up.
Oh, I can never do that.
You have to be laid.
Sores.
Huh?
They're going to get sores.
Sores, you think?
Yeah.
Oh, bed sores.
Mhm. Especially because it's just a mat. I'm
It's just a
picturing
mat.
like yoga mats.
Well, maybe it is. I'm not exactly sure. I think you're probably fairly close. Yoga mat.
They're a lot thicker than yoga mats.
Oh, like gym mats?
Like maybe 3-4 yoga mats together.
Okay.
Maybe even more.
But they do get a 10-minute bathroom break. Listen to this. A 10-minute bathroom break every 8 hours. Dude.
Yeah, I'd need more.
You got to choose your meals carefully.
Yeah, you do. No hot sauce.
The word is...
I could use like a 2-minute bathroom break every 4 hours.
Yeah, I wonder if they let you do that. Divvy it up.
You do pee a lot.
Well, I do here. And we're like the opposite. I drink so many beverages here that I go at least 3 times a morning.
Isn't that funny? The human body is a miraculous thing. I never urinate when we're on the radio show.
I don't know how you do it.
Never.
'Cause I watch you go through that Gatorade.
You go in and out of the bathroom 3-4 times, Cubby. When I get home, all I do is urinate for the rest of the day.
I got mine out.
All I do. My friends are tortured by this because everywhere we go, I have to hit a bathroom for a number 1 ski once or twice.
Oh, you're that person. As soon as you get somewhere, I gotta hit the bathroom quick.
Absolutely.
Oh, my mom's that person. It bugs me. I'm like, you just went 5 minutes ago.
People get mad at me too.
Road trips? Do folks get upset with you on road trips?
The worst.
You know what? I think on road trips, I put myself in a different kind of a mode. I don't really have that problem on road trips. Maybe it's
good.
Maybe it's the seated position or something like that.
Oh yeah, because you're in the seated position here.
Yeah. Because when I walk around, as soon as I walk into Target, I'm in the head. Absolutely. All right, we got to finish this story up. The contestants so far have made it through 23 days of lying there. Like I said, they can eat, drink, whatever they want to do with their phones. They can go to the bathroom once every 8 hours, 23 days, and they say no end is in sight. There they are, still laid out, committed to be the last man not standing, I guess. The lazy contest in Montenegro.
It's pretty funny.
What's the longest you've ever stayed in bed? And I'm not talking a sickness, just laying there. You know, maybe you got a overhang, maybe you were partying for a couple days, but not counting the flu or COVID, what's the longest stretch you ever had in bed?
2 days?
2 days?
Yeah, 48 hours, yeah.
Okay, we can't just let that sit. What the hell were you doing in bed for 2 days?
I had a day hangover, and then just on the Sunday, just decided not to move at all either.
Really? Wow. That's quite impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, my body would hurt so bad.
I eventually, that's the problem, is I'll eventually give myself a headache if I stay in bed too long. I remember having a crazy bad migraine at the end of that.
Oh, my back would hurt so bad. Ooh.
A buddy of mine had his mom ready to take him to the hospital when we were in high school, and we did one of these deals where we stayed up for like 2 straight days drinking and carrying on. You know what I mean? It's like Friday and Saturday we never slept, and Sunday we both crashed. I remember, I slept for about 12 hours. This buddy of mine didn't get out of bed for 22 hours or something like that. Jesus. And his mother was at his bedroom door. I'm going to call an ambulance. He said, Mom, get out of here. I'm just tired. It was but it was nearly an entire day. He was in bed, sleeping and in and out of sleep. So, God, I wish I could do that today. Couldn't you use 24 hours and just solid sleep, Cubby?
Oh, I'm so beat today.
Give
Absolutely.
me a friggin' break.
The alarm hurt today.
Yeah. That sumbitch was terrible.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
There is Ray Davis. 9 months ago when he jumped in the portal, everybody wanted him. 11 years ago as a foster kid, really nobody wanted him. And now here he is, found some love, found football, and he has had an amazing journey.
All right, Cubby, what do you make of that? Everyone seemed to be pouncing on this announcer. This announcer's calling a college football game over the weekend. There's a player for Kentucky named Ray Davis or something like that. Doesn't really matter. And the announcer is talking about how when he was a kid, he was a foster child and no one wanted him. Just like, I guess, fast forward to recently, he was a free agent college football player. He entered the portal, right? And now everybody wants him. Like this contrast of the kid's life, and everyone thought this guy was being kind of, I guess, rude to mention his foster child background, and it was too depressing to talk about how this kid had no family when he was young. What did you make of it?
I just thought it was weird, more than anything, like a weird correlation to make. I'm sure he was trying to be creative with saying everybody wants him now, but back in the day, nobody wanted this guy.
And I guess I read further, and the announcer was actually quoting the player.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, was it something that the player said was okay to say? Oh, okay.
Well, not that he said it was okay to say, but he was directly quoting the player. The player said this a handful of days ago. Hey, when I was a kid, nobody wanted me, but now that I'm an athlete, everybody wants me. It was just I don't know. The internet, at times, as you guys know, can pounce on things and...
It seemed like a weird thing to say. I mean, I'd imagine if you or I said it, we'd say, as he said in this press conference or whatever, that would have made it better.
That would have made it better. All right. The Buccaneers beat the Vikings yesterday by 3 points. And that's not, as Ashley likes to say, ideal. But the good news is they go play Philadelphia next. They'll have an easy time with the Eagles, right?
Yeah, they're not good, are they?
Huh? And it's this Thursday?
Yes.
It's a short week. They go play in Philadelphia. What's the big deal? Baker Mayfield had a nice second half and helped the Buccaneers pick up that win. I've been getting a lot of text messages. Just for a goof last week, I said, because somebody mentioned, maybe it was Brad Ryder. Brad Ryder predicted the Vikings would lose their home opener. Is that how it started? I think it was Brad Ryder.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Brad said the Vikings will lose their opener. And just for a goof, I said, if they lose their opener, I'll go get a Buccaneers Baker Mayfield jersey, and I'll wear it on our boat party coming up in a couple of weeks. Well, all right. One of you has got to show me how to shop on the internet. I'll get that jersey. I'm looking forward to wearing it. Because I'm going to get that old orange, the creamsicle look that the Buccaneers wore back in the day. I think it'll be a sharp operation, don't you, Josh?
Yeah, that'll be fun. If there was a silver lining to yesterday's loss, getting beaten by Baker Mayfield, one of my wife's favorite pitchmen, by the way, that would be seeing you in that jersey next week.
I'm looking forward.
Like those underwear ads he does?
What does Baker Mayfield sell on television?
No, those commercials where he's like at the stadium late.
It was Progressive.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
He's funny.
It was like his home. The stadium was his home.
Yeah.
We'll get into this in greater detail, and the Twins in greater detail. They couldn't get the sweep of the New York Mets, but they're doing just fine. They start a series at home with Tampa Bay tonight. We'll get into all of this in about a half hour when Randy Shaver, and Brad Ryder join us. Stay around, though, for Josh's news report.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, Minnesota. CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.
It's time for kickoff, and the Believe podcast will get you ready for the new season.
If you don't dominate in the running game, you won't win this football game.
Believe has podcasts covering all 32 professional teams and many of your favorite college teams, too.
He was always kind of one step ahead of everybody.
Sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone.
He's been such a part of the fabric of this team, so closely associated with the city, with championship-level football.
Search BLEAV podcasts wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
Americans are looking back on the horror of 9/11, gathering today at memorials, firehouses, city halls, and elsewhere to observe the 22nd anniversary of the deadliest terrorist attack on U.S. soil. It was on this day, 2001, 8:46 a.m. and then 9:03 a.m. Eastern Time. 2 hijacked planes crashed into the World Trade Centers. 2 other suicide flights crashed at the Pentagon and in the woods of Pennsylvania. Commemorations stretch from the attack sites, New York's World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania, as well as around the country. As another way of marking the anniversary, many Americans do volunteer work on what Congress has designated both Patriot Day and National Day of Service and Remembrance. A total of 2,792 people died at the World Trade Center attacks, 184 in the Pentagon attacks, including those on the plane, and then 40 died in the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania. The Minnesota Twins will join all Major League Baseball in remembrance of September 11th, 2001. Tonight's game against Tampa Bay will feature special pre- and in-game ceremonies and tributes, including a flyover prior to the game, and all U.S. and Minnesota flags at state buildings and elsewhere across Minnesota will be at half-staff.
That flyover will be nice tonight.
Yeah, they had one yesterday as well. I didn't see it. I was just reading about it today, but that is emotional. A 21-year-old woman pulling out of an Applebee's was stopped by police following a report of a white car hitting a traffic light and then quickly driving off. When asked if she was the one who hit the pole, she said no, fabricating a lie that she had broken her front right bumper over a month ago, speeding off from her ex-boyfriend's house after they broke up.
Always got to throw the ex-boyfriend under the bus, huh?
He might have had it coming. Oh. But that didn't explain why her bumper was in the middle of the road.
Did you hit that pole that's over there? No. Because your bumper's in the middle of the road.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to her story. When the officer asked if she'd been drinking, she claimed to have only had one, but then revealed something else. Hoping to get out of trouble, she revealed to the cop her father worked as a sheriff's officer with the local police department. However, what she didn't know was how her dad would react when he arrived on the scene.
Uh-oh.
He arrested her for DUI.
Oh!
As she was put in cuffs, she said to her father, "Dad, Dad, Dad, I'm the captain of the soccer team," before hugging him. To which her police officer father replied, "Cut the S. You're getting arrested for DUI."
I love the amount of times she mentions it to these other officers. Like because when she asks for her dad the multiple times, she always throws in his position.
Well, she was desperate.
Oh, gosh.
That's hilarious.
I cringed every single time she said his name. Like, girl, stop it.
Test results showed she was over twice the legal limit.
Oh, my God.
That was a hell of a one she had then. must have been pretty strong.
It was a big one. Yeah. Real big.
It's a big gulp.
My favorite is the copy when he goes, "Dude, if I go get that bumper right there and bring it over here, it's not going to match up to your car, really?"
I love that the old man didn't give an F.
Nah, he thought she needed to learn the lesson.
Good for him.
A Vermont armed robbery suspect who police say eluded a capture in a vehicle, a stolen bike, on foot, in a tractor, and in a stolen sailboat was arrested Thursday after he was spotted in the river on a kayak. This guy's well-traveled.
Wow.
52-year-old Eric Edson was wanted on accusations of robbery, impeding and assaulting 2 police officers, and the theft of a sailboat and vehicles. August 30th, Burlington police responded to a man passed out in a running vehicle, which matched the description of one used in a robbery a week before. When they roused him, he fled at a high rate of speed, assaulting both officers with the vehicle, police said. That evening, he fled police on foot, a tractor, and then on a stolen bicycle before stealing a sailboat. He was intercepted by the Coast Guard, but after the sailboat ran aground at the base of some lakeside cliffs, he fled. Vermont State Police received a tip Thursday. He was spotted in a kayak on a river about 20 miles away.
In a friggin' kayak?
Yeah. He had stolen that kayak, ran away. He kajaked it. He ran away and then jumped into the river and swam to shore, where he was arrested finally.
Did he cover every event of the pentathlon?
I don't know, is there an airplane segment in there somewhere where he could have flown?
Skateboard, helicopter, airplane, hang glider.
A British woman living in Florida was hit with child abuse and resisting arrest charges after jumping naked into a body of water while holding her 3-year-old nephew Thursday. This part of a failed attempt to dodge her arrest. The Miami Police Department initially responded to criminal mischief calls at 8:30 a.m. about a woman bringing things inside a building and causing damage to floodlights. When cops arrived, 27-year-old Natalia Marina, who was reportedly with her sister and nephew, allegedly tried to get away from police by getting naked, leaping into a bay, and holding her 3-year-old nephew while swimming towards freedom. She never made it towards freedom. Her nude water stunt to avoid arrest had the opposite effect, as she's now facing serious charges.
That poor nephew.
Yeah, he didn't want no part of that.
Yeah. Gross. Naked aunt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Several Florida elementary school students needed medical attention last week after they came in contact with the One Chip Challenge, which keeps making the news.
Boy, took a piece of it and bit it, ate it, and one just touched it and I guess touched his eyes.
DeAnton Patrick, a father of one of the students, said his son bought the chip from a Walgreens Tuesday, but his mom found it and made him throw it away. But Patrick said his 10-year-old daughter took the chip out of the trash and brought it to an elementary school. Now she's suspended for a week. 6 kids required some sort of medical attention, but citing privacy reasons, the school district didn't elaborate.
I'm worried about the 6 kids because they consumed the chip. It could have been a younger child, maybe a 2-3-year-old. Just imagine them eating one of them chips.
In a statement, Walgreens said they are removing the product from their shelves. The incident comes shortly after the maker of the chip announced it's pulled its One Chip Challenge products from store shelves as officials in Massachusetts investigate the cause of death of a 14-year-old boy who ate one of the spicy chips hours before he died. We talked about that last week.
What a mess.
Yeah.
An Indiana woman believed to be a drug dealer and repeat offender has been charged after allegedly faking a heart attack and hiding an avocado-sized parcel of drugs in her guac socket. 41-year-old Amanda Smith stands accused of hiding meth, fentanyl, and cocaine in the old penile penitentiary down there. During a traffic stop last Monday, a police dog named Cooper gave an alert suggesting drugs were likely somewhere within the car or within Smith. Then she promptly faked a heart attack. When she yelled about a purported cardiac state, she allegedly forbade EMS from evaluating her condition.
Of course.
Authorities, however, I'm having a heart attack, but I'm good. I got this. No trained medical professional needs to come anywhere near me.
That's great.
Authorities, however, took Smith to the hospital where she allegedly refused to remove her clothing while demanding to use the restroom, presumably to get rid of the drugs. But then law enforcement believed the defendant was engaged in an extended effort to conceal drugs from them while biding her time to find a way to get rid of the evidence. After a while, she allegedly agreed to change in the presence of nurses and admitted to having some fentanyl in her underwear. But the nurses allegedly saw something else, telltale signs of a plastic sandwich bag hidden in her hairy Manilow.
God help us all.
The nurses relayed this information to law enforcement. Smith denied it. Eventually, however, she removed what a deputy described as an avocado-sized plastic sandwich bag loaded with drugs from her vagina.
What a character. I love that bit where she says, "Oh my God, I'm dying. Can we check your vitals?" No. Let's let this happen naturally.
An Ontario surgeon's license has been stripped for 18 months after a disciplinary tribunal found he directed a female employee to perform an exam on his genitals for at least the second time in his more than 30-year career. According to the ruling, the surgeon asked the woman, referred to in court as Miss X, to perform exams on his genital region, despite her not being someone who conducts such examinations. Before she could leave the exam room for him to change in private, he repeatedly exposed himself despite her asking him not to.
What the hell?
So she placed a towel over him, but he promptly removed it, repeatedly. As she reluctantly checked him for a hernia, as he requested, he would guide her hand inappropriately.
Oh, dude.
Finding him to have engaged in serious and disturbing conduct, the panel suspended his license. In 2008, he was found to have engaged in remarkably similar misconduct with a nurse working in his office. When he returns to practice, he must submit to continuous observations by another appointed healthcare professional who will submit monthly reports.
Dude just can't learn.
I'm surprised they're going to let him back.
Yeah, for real.
He's troubled.
Retaliation from an ex-boyfriend has cost a Texas school employee her job, and it also led to the arrest of her ex-boyfriend. The chain of events began August 13th, when the victim said her ex sent a text message along with a screenshot of an email with 3 images, 2 of them nude photos. The victim said the 43-year-old threatened to send the photos to school officials as payback for ending their relationship. 3 days later, the victim was summoned to the San Antonio Independent School District Human Resources Department and given a choice to be terminated or resign due to the email they received with the compromising photos. The woman decided to resign and then immediately reported the violation of her privacy, telling police she didn't give the ex permission to send the photos to anyone. They were supposed to be for his eyes only. He's facing charges of publishing or threatening to publish intimate visual materials.
Jesus.
Lost her job over it.
Yeah.
Massachusetts State Police escorted a flight attendant from an American Airlines passenger jet after a complaint of a camera allegedly placed in a bathroom aboard the aircraft. A passenger aboard American Airlines Flight 1441 flying from Charlotte to Boston said he witnessed a teenage girl try to use the bathroom in the first-class section, but was stopped by a male flight attendant.
She was about to go to the bathroom. He stopped her and said, "Hey, hold on just a second. We're about to start collecting trash, so I'm going to wash my hands." So he went in the bathroom, and then she went to the bathroom.
The passenger said the girl went into the bathroom after the flight attendant finished, and that's when the teen spotted the camera. When the flight landed in Boston, they were met by state police.
After like 3 or 4 different people had checked the bathroom and everything, they took the male flight attendant off.
In a statement, American Airlines said, "We take this matter very seriously and are fully cooperative with law enforcement in their investigation, as safety and security are our highest priorities."
That's pretty creepy.
You couldn't have made it any more obvious.
In other pungent aviation news, a New Zealand couple is demanding a refund after they spent a 13-hour flight stuck next to a farting dog.
Oh.
Gill and Warren Press said their Singapore Airlines flight from Paris, which they forked out extra for premium seats, was ruined by the noisy and gassy service animal. Pair said they are also disgruntled that the airline failed to notify them in advance that the flatulent animal would be on board.
Dog farts are funny, though.
Oh, they can be pretty bad.
Oh, they can be disgusting.
They're on Smelta Airlines there. Poo Nighted.
Oh.
Jet poo. Even more canine aviation news. A dog named Sputnik chewed her way through the metal gate of her kennel at an Alaskan Airlines flight last week. The video shows Sputnik standing at the opening of the plane's cargo hold, smiling with her tongue out, looking down at the baggage conveyor belt to the surprise of airport workers. Sputnik escaped their cage by chewing through the zip ties and the metal lock that held the gate of the crate closed, all while being under a full dose of sedatives. The dog's owner said the flight was a 6-hour cross-country trip, and no one knows how long she had escaped. A dog took a 50-foot fall while trekking an illegal Hawaii trail with its owner, officials said. A woman was hiking when her 55-pound dog fell off the Stairway to Heaven trail last Monday. The trail, a nearly 4,000-step staircase known as the Haiku Stairs, was closed to the public in 1987 and is considered extremely dangerous. Using the woman's geolocation on her phone, rescuers said they sent ground and air teams to search for the duo. Officials said rescuers searching by air spotted the woman and dog, who somehow was not injured.
Oh, good.
55 feet, and the dog was just fine.
Son of a bee. I wonder what the hell. How did he manage that? I don't
Must
know.
have been a little freaked out once he hit the bottom, though.
Landed
That's for
perfectly.
sure.
In a more embarrassing plunge, a young man's toupee was revealed to the world when he jumped off a bridge in China. The crowd went wild as the hairpiece went flying off his head during the 25-foot drop and then floated to the surface of the water. He suffered no other injuries other than hurt feelings. That's a video you can see on 93X.
So embarrassing.
I gotta go there right now.
Just
That's the funniest thing I've heard all day.
Yeah, it's separated from his head.
Dang it. And then I bet his hair transplant doctor said there's no chance it's ever going to come off. You're fine. No one's ever going to know.
But nobody had any sympathy for him. They're all making fun of him.
This is going to be my new ringtone. Can I make this a ringtone? What am I talking about?
I don't think you can. Nah, I don't think so.
I don't see it up here.
Oh, I probably could. We posted it a while ago, so I have to move it to the top.
Well, would you do that already?
Yeah, I can do it.
I didn't mean to holler at you like that.
It's okay.
Sounds like so much fun.
Tonight, the Jets host the Bills on the 54th season premiere of Monday Night Football. Styx guitarist Tommy Shaw, 70 today.
Tommy Shaw, I'll be damned. Isn't he a talented guy?
Oh, man, you're not kidding.
And he still sounds like he's 22 years old if you see him in concert.
Brian De Palma, the director of the original Carrie, Mission Impossible, Carlito's Way, The Untouchables, Scarface, and much, much more.
Oh, wow. Carlito's Way doesn't get talked about, I think, as much as it should. What a great movie. You guys familiar with Carlito's Way? Al Pacino.
Yep. Yes. Yep. 83 today. Happy belated birthday to twin bros Mike and Greg, and that's 93X News.
KARE 11's Randy Shaver.
He likes going into the manholes.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Tries top, looking deep, he's got Anderson. Joseph for a 25-yard field goal, it's good. Quick pass, Godwin, did he hang on? He did! What a catch by Godwin! And that is going to send everyone in Minnesota home.
Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder are here. Hello, Randy Shaver.
Good morning.
And hello to the man who I remember predicting that the Vikings would piss the home opener down their leg. Brad Ryder, were you the guy?
I threw up a very high cautionary tale. I'll put it that way.
You did? Refresh my memory. We were just talking a few minutes ago. I thought you had predicted this failure in Week 1 for the Vikings.
I didn't predict necessarily outright that they would lose. I just said it's going to be a lot tougher game than people think it's going to be.
Well, close enough. I'm calling that close enough, Randy.
I think it is close enough. Yes, agree.
20-17 was your final yesterday. With old Baker Mayfield having a solid second half and helping the Bucs pick up the win. They got a pretty good defense over there in Tampa Bay.
They do. I think the Vikings were self-inflicting themselves pretty much all day long.
Well,
so
you turned the ball
helped.
over three times in the first half.
Well, look,
you also cannot run for 41 total yards and expect to win a game. I mean, they ran for 41 yards. If you're going to put everything on the shoulders of the quarterback with that very average, to be kind, offensive line, you're going to be in trouble.
I think once again, and this conversation will likely be happening all season long, is the lack of investing in your offensive line.
Yep.
I think that's we saw the starting center go down in the first half. Who knows how long he's going to be out. We saw Darrisaw get hurt, come back. Who knows if he's ready for Thursday against the Eagles. I just think that, once again, this is going to be a conversation where there's just not enough quality depth on that offensive line to protect Cousins, number one, but as Brad said, provide the ability to run the football. So,
yeah, Vikes had an opportunity. They were down 3, but the Bucs defense stuffed them on their last 2 possessions.
Yeah.
And they start the season 0-1.
And I think the Vikings defense is going to be average again. I said this I said it last week at one point that it's one thing to have a Brian Flores who is a very creative and well-established defensive coordinator. That doesn't really change anything if the quality of player is not going to be able to rise to the occasion. And I'm not saying that they're not good. They are good. But as this season goes along and injuries start to mount, how good will this team really be defensively?
I hear you knocking, Randy Shaver. A lot of folks are busting my chops about this Baker Mayfield jersey. When am I going to order it?
Yes.
As soon as we get off the air, if someone will show me how to order something off the internet, I'm happy to order this Baker Mayfield jersey. If you missed it last week, just goofing around, I said, well, if the Vikes lose the home opener, I'll buy a Buccaneers Baker Mayfield jersey. I'll wear it to our boat party coming up in a couple weeks, our sold-out Infect the River party. I'm actually really excited about it because Dana found a link to, I don't know, NFLshop.com or something that shows you all the options you have. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, I can buy one of the old creamsicle-colored jerseys.
Oh,
there you go.
So, I mean, I'd take any player with that cool-ass old. I thought the Buccaneers were supposed to wear their throwback jerseys yesterday.
I think they're going to wear them at home.
Bastards. Bastards. But everyone's been texting, yeah, I'm going to get on it. I'm happy to wear the I'm happy to do it, really.
Awesome.
I'm excited to have that jersey on my back for our boat party. So how do you like the boys' chances Thursday night in Philadelphia? Everyone excited about their chances against Philadelphia?
I don't like their chances one bit.
Huh?
You think they'll go 0-2?
I think they start 0-2.
I think they probably start 0-3, actually.
0-3?
Man.
Oh,
Because they have the Chargers the following week.
Oh, my God.
Justin Hebert, however you want to say it, is a lot better than Baker Mayfield. So
Yeah, but I will say this: the Chargers' defense is about as bad, at least from what we saw, giving up points and yardage that the Vikings seemed to be yesterday. The Eagles' defense is a whole different story, and
Thursday night.
The game against the Chargers might be more of a shootout. The game Thursday, I think, is going to be a very physical football game. So.
I didn't see much of the game yesterday, and I missed all the pregame festivities where they honored Bud Grant and had a bunch of old-timers out there. Did anything stand out for you? Randy, you get a chance to see any of that stuff?
I did not see any of that.
No, I didn't either.
I got a chance to see it, and it was really cool. They had some military helicopters fly over too, which was sweet.
Well, that was one of Bud's big things. Bud was very. If you watch the Vikings, they had they always lined up in formation for the
national anthem.
Yes, that was a big deal for Bud.
Well, it's always nice to get some of them old timers out there, and of course, we miss Bud Grant around here.
They even gave out hats to people, like Purple Vikings hat, and on the side it had a Bud signature on it, so that was pretty sweet too.
That's pretty cool.
You know, I got a Viking stocking cap that I bet is from about 1971.
What if it's worth anything?
What?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, Randy Shaver.
A Viking stocking cap from 1971?
I'll show it to you sometime.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's... are you being sarcastic?
No. How is it even together?
Well...
I mean, it hasn't been eaten by moths or something.
It smells like ass, and it is...
I got it,
It's not the prettiest thing in the world. I got it from an old-timer that used to drink at the Legion. He's dead now. But, I mean, it's older than the hills. I'll show it to you sometime. One of them big old pom-poms on the top.
Sure. Cool. Oh, sure.
Yeah, it kept somebody warm at Met Stadium back in the friggin' 70s. So I didn't pay attention to the commentary. Matt Ryan took his first crack at being a color analyst covering NFL games. What did everyone think of Matt Ryan?
I thought he was good.
I figured he'd be good at it.
Yeah,
Cubby,
I
like
thought
him?
he was good.
Yeah, he was very good.
Now, why did they got to pick on him, though?
Who's picking on him?
The lead announcer and Tiki Barber. Was it Tiki Barber?
Yep. Sure.
They were picking on him. They had to. I'm so tired of this. They had to come at him with another one of those 28-3 jokes.
Oh yeah.
To bring him back to
Matt
the.
Ryan and Tiki Barber. I'm Andrew Catalan. They were just chopping some burgers at halftime, saying this game feels like it should be 28-3 in favor of Minnesota. Why is it still 10-10?
You follow what they did there?
Yeah.
That's a dick move. And you see Matt Ryan's face?
Yeah, he kind of rolled his eyes a little bit.
He should have choked those guys out.
It's got to be getting so old for him at this point. You know,
Absolutely.
you're like, yeah, I get it.
However many years ago it was, he lost to the lunatic in the Super Bowl. It was 28-3 at one point, but you don't do that to a guy on week one.
No. Let him settle in a little bit.
What else grabbed you from yesterday? I circled a couple of final scores that threw me when I looked at yesterday's games. First off, the Cleveland Browns beat the living hell out of the Cincinnati Bengals like they weren't nothing.
They did.
And Joe Burrow got benched.
Oh, yeah, he tried to go for it.
Well, he was hurt, though, remember.
Was he hurt?
He came into the game hurt, so benching him when the game was decided is probably the smart thing to do.
Oh, so it wasn't so much you suck eggs, go sit down.
No, they just signed him to the biggest deal in NFL history a few days earlier, so he's going to play. It's not like they're benching him for somebody else.
Well,
he
no,
was
I
not
didn't.
happy, though. Did you see his little tantrum?
Well, he shouldn't be happy.
Yeah, that gives me such the ick, though. He's such a
should be
good-looking man, and now I got the ick.
No, you got the ick.
Yep.
I didn't see this. Okay, seeing nothing of this game and just reading the headline that he was benched.
Yeah, that doesn't.
And I never assumed that he wasn't going to come back next week, so it was. I didn't know he came into the game hurt because it says here Joe Burrow benched days after becoming the highest-paid athlete in the history of the world, or whatever he became a couple days ago.
Again, I would.
It was just because he.
That, yeah.
And the Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Giants 40-0.
I mean, that was 40 donut, right?
Yep.
41 donut.
It wasn't even that close if you watched the game.
Oh, my gosh. They just destroyed the Giants.
Well, Josh said for the first 3 minutes the Giants looked terrific.
I thought, wow, this is nope. It kind of looked like a Vikings game.
No. Yeah, that game last night
Nothing
was
could go right.
40-0.
But we got to remember it's only game one for Dallas. I mean, Dallas has a history under Jerry Jones of at least a recent history of playing decently during the regular season and then finding a way to collapse in the playoffs. So, but yeah, that was surprising. I thought the Chargers-Dolphins game was just a hell of a game, shootout, back and forth, a track meet. I was, got to give the Packers credit. Jordan Love looked really good.
Isn't it fun seeing the Packers on television and not being instantly aggravated?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I got to give them credit. They looked really good.
I couldn't care one way or another what the Packers do, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I thought that I think Jacksonville is going to live up to the expectations. Calvin Ridley, first game in a year, 8 catches, 100 yards, a touchdown. I think they look pretty good.
Yeah. I
Colts
saw someone
surprisingly were competitive.
I think Boomer Esiason picked the Jacksonville as Wapple would say, the Jacksonville Jaguars. He predicted them to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, if they stay healthy, they've got a good group. They got a strong defense, and their offense is full of weapons.
I'll tell you what, the Packers could go 16-0, and I wouldn't give a rat's ass. That'd be fine by me. That'd be fine by me. They could go 19-0, right through to it wouldn't affect me one way or the other.
It is a beautiful thing.
It's so nice to be able to watch that team and not feel tonight. Buffalo Bills and the gas bag.
Yeah, should be fun.
Oh, somebody texted in Randy Shaver and said, remind Randy that apparently last week you said you were going to, or you recommended that folks bet big on the Washington Commodores.
Well, the Commanders.
And the listener says they didn't cover the spread.
They barely survived. Yeah, how about that? Wow.
So you were talking about bet on the Commodores.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Arizona they're so bad, but somehow they were winning that game for a while, third quarter. So,
listen to this now. I mentioned I got a stocking cap, an old Viking stocking cap from about 1971. Herding Cats Jesus texted in to say he has a Viking snowmobile suit from about 1971.
Oh, really?
All these collectors.
You know what? You should wear both.
Yeah. Another
They
listener
probably
said,
smell the same.
Yeah, probably. Another listener says, you think that's bad? I got a wife I married in 1971.
Oh, my gosh.
Vintage.
Yeah, we don't have to
Vintage
go there.
wife. Yeah, collector's item.
Man.
Oh, what else is going on? Oh, did nobody hired Joe Flacco to play quarterback yet?
No.
I don't think so.
I was reading something last week about how he's 38 years old. He says he can still play, but no one wants to give him a phone call and sign him up. Do you think every year some quarterback disaster happens, Joe Flacco will get a job again, won't he?
I doubt it.
I'm not so sure anymore.
See, I'm a Joe Flacco fan. Everyone seems to piss all over the guy. He won a Super Bowl. Why does everyone make fun of Joe Flacco?
I just think that Joe is
not you guys. I read articles all the time making fun of Joe Flacco.
Sure.
Yeah, get one of his jerseys. Wear it on a boat.
I already got a jersey I got to wear.
You know what, though? The boat's a long boat trip. You can change jerseys.
Nick's is going through fringe quarterback jerseys
You can do
throughout
a
the boat.
wardrobe change.
Like NASCAR guys go through hats and posters and everything.
Well, how much money you guys think I have to spend on now?
I was just going to say, he's already going to spend over $100 on this Mayfield thing.
It's a washed-up quarterback tour I'm going on this year. Joe Flacco. End of the boat, I'll be. What will I be wearing at the end of the boat? Heath Schuler. I mean, I don't know. I always got a kick out of the Joe Flacco story where, he won a Super Bowl in 2013, and he was the MVP, right? Fast forward to, a couple years ago, he's hanging on with the Jets or something. He's starting games when he has to, and he told a story where, his kids were babies in 2013, but then. A couple years ago now, they're 8, 9 years old, whatever, right? And his little kids are watching football talking about, well, this guy won a Super Bowl, that guy won a Super Bowl. And he says to his kids, well, I won a Super Bowl. And his kids said, no, you didn't.
Shut up, Dad.
They even said, one of them even said, you suck. You didn't win a Super Bowl. He said, what are you? And he had to turn on, he put the VHS, he turned on the VCR, and he played the game for him. He's like, this is me right here, your dad. The kid said, you didn't win a friggin' Super Bowl. Don't talk nonsense.
That would piss me off.
I love that. That kind of endeared me to the guy. All right, what else should we cover here? Golden Gophers beat Eastern Michigan on Saturday, 25-6. So they remained unbeaten. Anyone got something or another to say about them?
Is it just me, or is that just they're so hard to watch?
I didn't get a chance to see
it's
it.
Just so boring.
I think that game was hard to watch because they ran the ball. They knew that they didn't need to throw the ball 25 times to win that game. So
I'm just saying from a enjoy the broadcast, enjoy your team standpoint. It's just hard to watch. So boring. They're just not an exciting. I mean, they get the job done. Don't get me wrong. They do what they have to do, but God, it's just hard to watch sometimes, man.
They're going to get tested this weekend, though, for sure.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go to North Carolina.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. North Carolina. It's Flair country and all that. Everyone knows that. Kenny Omega is billed from North Carolina, even though he's Canadian. I haven't had much of a chance to watch the Golden Gopher football team yet. But my buddies go to the games, and they have said that the Nebraska game up until the last 5 minutes and this Eastern Michigan game wasn't the most enjoyable experience they've ever had watching live football.
It's just...
But they're throwing the hell out of the ball.
Well...
That's got to count for something. And then Nebraska game, didn't they throw the ball 44
the Nebraska
times?
Game they did. They didn't Saturday because they didn't need to.
They didn't need to.
Yeah.
All right, now a listener texted in. We were talking about how I'm going to wear that Baker Mayfield Buccaneer jersey to our Infect the River party. I promised I would if the Buccaneers beat the Vikings in the home opener. I'm excited about it. They got the creamsicle colors for me and everything that I can order on the internet. It's going to look sharp. A listener wants to know who has the oddest Bizarro jersey in their possession.
I saw some great ones at the tailgate yesterday for the Vikings game. Just seeing some of the old names, like some Tavares Jackson jerseys out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tavares Jackson?
Tavares Jackson. God rest his soul.
Yeah, saw a couple Donovan McNabb jerseys out there. That was the most fun. I was just scanning the crowd looking for obscure jerseys. I saw Visante Shenko at one point.
God,
oh, wow.
Text us. What's our number again, Josh?
651-989-9393.
If you truthfully have just a bizarro, obscure sports jersey you'd like to share with, I think I got a pretty good one. What was because of Brad Ryder? Thanks, Brad Ryder. He turned over some Timberwolves jerseys to us a number of years ago. I have a black Timberwolves jersey. They used to wear the black look when Kevin Love was there. I have a black Darko Milicic jersey.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
As far as football goes, I have Randall Cunningham.
Nice.
Viking jersey. I know I'm forgetting. This is my biggest mistake ever. I gave away a Twins Lou Ford jersey.
Oh,
gosh.
Oh, by the way, a stolen Twins Lou Ford jersey. Stolen. Why? we had a charity event, and people wanted to donate some sarcastic stuff, just for fun. And so I donated my Lou Ford Twins jersey, and others did similar kind of sarcastic prizes for fun. That was how it went away.
Okay.
God, I know I have some other ones I can't think of.
I've got a Twins one I can replace it with for you. I've got a Brett Boone Twins jersey. Don't ask me how I have it. I have no idea. I literally have no clue. But he was with the Twins for about 3 weeks. Back in,
I don't even have time to print one.
I don't know. I was I think I was cleaning out my office one off season when I was working there, and it was in my office, so I took it home.
I'd like that you mentioned a guy who only. What about does anyone? I might pay you top dollar for a Kendrys Morales Twins jersey. Remember how he was with the team for only a brief period of time, hit a few dongs, and then he was gone?
Yep.
Kendrys Morales?
Yes.
Okay, here we got
great hitter.
Oh, God, the texts are piling in.
Yeah, he's
There's a
coming
lot
quick.
of people cat jerseys.
There's a Brock Lesnar Vikings jersey.
That's
someone has.
Everybody wanted that stupid effing jersey. I hated that gimmick. Jeff George. Oh, wow. A Jeff George Vikings jersey? That's great. I mean, no offense, but I'm not really, I'm not going too crazy over your Dwayne Rollison jersey. I mean, a lot of... but the texts are rolling in like a sumbitch right now.
The two that come to mind that I can picture in my closet right now is an original XFL Memphis Maniacs jersey from the very first run that they had.
You've got to have a ton.
I do have a lot. And the other one that's really obscure that I have, an Adam Morrison Charlotte Bobcats jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
Adam Morrison from Gonzaga.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, these are great. Jeff Hostetler Raiders jersey. That's great. Frank Wycheck Tennessee Titans. I'm going to have to go through these. These are great. This is fun for me. Jermaine O'Neal, Indiana Pacers. Greg Oden, Portland Trailblazers. Tony Dorsett, really? That's fun.
Oh, my best Twins jersey is a Byung-Ho Park jersey.
I bought his jersey.
Did you?
Yes, but I don't know what happened to it.
I got it off the clearance rack after he had already left, so it was like 75% off or something like that. And then I worked for a radio station that was owned by the Polet, so we got a company discount at the Twins Pro Shop.
You got to start wearing these around.
So I ended up getting an authentic Byung-Ho Park jersey for like $4 by the time I
You still overpaid.
Spurgeon Wynn, Christian Ponder.
Jesus. You know what, Dana? We get it. You like the Bills, okay? You've made that point. Start wearing some of these other jerseys.
I'll mix them in, yeah.
Word?
Hey, Chris Hovan.
Oh,
he was our guy for a while. He used to come to so many of our events.
That guy was odd.
He was great, though.
Remember his girlfriend?
No.
Ooh, la la.
I don't. I wish I did now, the way
she was an ex-girl.
What?
I mean, she's still a girl. We used to have these things called 93 ex-girls, and she was an ex-girl.
Unbelievable how many of you have interesting sports jerseys out there. This text machine is popping off like a... All right, where should we go next? Everyone's just straight up whacking off over Deion Sanders coaching the University of Colorado.
That game did look like a lot of fun on Saturday.
Golly, just.
I haven't watched
There were
it.
so many articles written about so many aspects of that game.
What
right.
game? What game?
The Colorado-Nebraska game.
Okay, this was a big deal?
Oh, yeah.
Well, just the Deion Sanders aspect, talking about like the clothing they wore, everything Deion Sanders.
The celebrities that were at the game.
That's where I'm going with this. I mean, okay. I mean, obviously, like I said, it's a big deal. Everyone is touching themselves sideways because Deion Sanders is coaching the University of Colorado, and they've won a couple of big games. And a pile of people you may or may not care about showed up for the Colorado home opener on Saturday against Nebraska. That nutbag Michael Irvin was there. Shannon Sharp was there. Stephen A. Smith, another dude who gets a little squirrely from time to time. Terrell Owens was there. But F those guys. The real stars that came out to see prime time coach college football was the Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang? Oh, sure, they never showed up to Pobbs and Andover back in the day, but they show up to watch college football.
Boy, was that uncomfortable for you. Ooh, that didn't go well for you.
Do I have to tell the Wu-Tang Povs story again. Oh, no, it was fun. Boy, Cubby, this must have been 15 years ago or so. Maybe even more, right?
Yeah, at least. Probably more.
I was doing bar appearances, bar gigs up for the radio station up in Andover at a joint called Povs. Now it's a Walmart, I understand. But, God, I had that gig for 15 years or something like that. Every Thursday night, go up there, and we had a blast. I mean, God help us.
There's a lot of like 15 to 18-year-olds in that area that look a lot like you. Like, surprising.
I'll tell you what, Cubby, I was slinging it back then.
I know. I'm very aware.
Friday mornings, I drove to work from a different location every morning.
Pops was like your brick and mortar Tinder back then.
You ain't kidding. We drank beer and raised hell, and yeah, I drove to work from a different location every Friday morning. What, 35E? How the hell did I get off the 35? What's 35E? Where am I? Anyway, I'm horsing around. You know, of course, we do ads, promos during the week. Hey, join me at Povs this Thursday. And I just was horsing around, and it all started because Dave Chappelle did a bit on the Wu-Tang Clan on his comedy show, and it was very funny. Oh, no, I think it was a Crank Yankers bit.
It was Crank Yankers, yeah.
Crank Yankers, Dave Chappelle calls a little mom-and-pop bed and breakfast in the middle of nowhere, and he pretends like he's trying to book the Wu-Tang Clan to stay at this little... It was very funny. This old lady's on the phone saying, the Wu-Tang Clan? Yeah, it's... The old dirty bastard. Anyway, you know me. You probably know the bit. I thought that was so funny. So in my ad for Povs, I said, "Come join me this Thursday. It'll be me and the Wu-Tang Clan from 9 to 11. We'll see you later." Just horsing around. Next thing you know, I'm at the gig, and there's a line of people waiting to get in because they believed me that the Wu-Tang effing Clan, the boss was mad at me, the security guards were mad at me. I did not see this coming at all. I thought that my sarcasm was obvious. It was not. And the entire night, I'm seeing people walk up to the security guard, have a conversation, shake their head upset, and leave.
I can't imagine.
Because people were walking in saying, "What time's the Wu-Tang Clan going to get here?" And the security guard had to say the radio dick was making a joke.
Radio.
That's awesome.
Man.
Oh, man, I feel for you.
Oh.
Boy, did that backfire.
Yeah, it did. They were pissed at me.
I had a similar one once. We were giving away sweet tickets to a concert, and I said in a promo, yeah, free sweet tickets, you can win them, and we're going to have a crock pot with 500 meatballs in there in the suite for everybody to enjoy. And so the guys in the suite, they won sweet tickets to go see the sold-out concert, like, well, where are the meatballs? I thought we were going to have 500 meatballs in here.
Boy, you know what? We've hosted suites before where people win tickets to the suite. And you're right. If there's not food or something in there, they act as if it's been the world's greatest offense.
Yeah. It's your fault, too.
Yeah, they're not sitting in a suite. They're just upset that there's no hot dogs and chips.
Yeah. Where are the meatballs?
I get that every single time I do a Coors Light gig. Every single time we go up to the suite, there's always one dude. Really? There's no food up here?
There's free beer?
Yeah, free friggin' beer.
Right.
And by the way, the seat you're sitting in costs like $575.
Exactly.
But sorry, we don't have peanuts and hot dogs for your entitled ass.
It is kind of funny, though, because you walk by all the other suites and you kind of glance in there, and they all have, like, these huge buffets set up, and you get into ours, and I'm like, yeah, there's some cups over here for some water, I guess.
They're more successful radio stations. That's what you get.
They're eating cake and everything over there. They're like, cake and ice cream.
Yeah.
Wow. Boy, I wish I was them.
Yeah, you're not kidding, though. People get upset. It's a strange phenomenon.
So earlier I was asking folks, what are the rare, obscure sports jerseys that you have in your possession? This one's fun. Here's a guy who's got a Martin Skula Wild jersey.
Oh, my.
Oh, the roller coaster of emotions that Pigs fans went through every night watching Martin Skula. They hated his guts. And then he'd score a goal on the power play, and they were all happy again with Martin Skula. I never meant anything I said about Martin Skula. Then the next shift, he would get, someone would go around him like he was a traffic cone, and they'd be, "You son of a bitch, Skula! Get out of here, you bastard!" Todd Stussy jerseys in the listening audience.
Cool. He was great. I like Todd Stussy.
I did too.
Rick Mirer. A Seahawks Rick Mirer jersey. Hilarious. What can you do? Where else am I going with this? Oh, USC football. They played Stanford over the weekend, and they won by a hell of a lot of points. They were up 42-3 at halftime. USC was up on Stanford 42-3. And every time they score, they send their horse out onto the field to do a couple of laps with the Trojan on the back. Have you seen that gimmick play out?
Yep.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they were scoring so often in that game against Stanford.
Horse got tired.
Horse got tired. So the last
Frere Bruca. Sorry.
No, Randy, you never apologize for a Young Frankenstein reference on this program. Yeah, the last couple of touchdowns, the USC fans were saying, well, where's the horse? The sumbitch was on its knees. It was exhausted. Traveler, the team's beloved horse mascot, couldn't make it out on the field. She was cooked. But that brings up the Oregon Duck, Puddles, one of the greatest mascots on planet Earth. How could anyone not like Puddles? Big, fat-ass, adorable duck mascot. So, remember we mentioned Oregon's football team, Puddles Ball Club, beat Portland State 81-7 in their season opener. I think we talked about it on the show.
Neil Lomax.
Neil Lomax's old school Portland State. If you didn't know this, Puddles, well, I mean, a lot of mascots do this, but when Oregon would score, okay, they're up 7-0, Puddles has to come out and do 7 push-ups. Oh, now they're up 14-0. Puddles has to come out and pump out 14. By the end of the game, Puddles had done 546 push-ups.
Poor Puddles.
And I think
it was a good idea before the game started. Hey, let's let Puddles do.
I mean, Goldie does the same thing.
Sure.
But I guess there's a picture somewhere on the internet of Puddles on a stretcher after the friggin' game was
Somehow
over.
I don't think Goldie has to worry about doing 500 push-ups at a Gopher football game.
He's saying, please,
Don't think
PJ, run the ball.
Yeah,
Please run the
exactly.
ball.
Don't think Goldie has to worry about that.
No one's texted in with any Brad Ryder Clara City baseball jerseys yet.
Oh, I've got a few of those.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Will you give them away at a 93X event?
Absolutely not. I will not give them away. You can buy them.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, my God.
Brad just sets up his own merch table on the boat.
He's got kids in college. He's got to pay.
That's a good point.
Oh, no, Cubby, a Darren Sharper jersey.
Oof. Yeah, I bet you don't wear that one.
Yeah, just toss that one in the trash, go to Goodwill, and get one of the 5,000 Favre jerseys that are sitting on the rack.
You don't wear that one.
Oh, no. Philippe Kuba jersey.
Sure.
Oh, he made the All-Star team. Twins couldn't quite get the sweep over the New York Mets this weekend, but the Guardians lost as well, so nothing hurt in the standings at all.
The magic number's at 12, I think. So
they still lead the division by 7+1/2 games.
Yeah, they're fine. They're going
to stay healthy and get everybody ready for the playoffs.
The only disappointing thing yesterday was Lopez pitches his butt off, strikes out 14, and they can't score enough runs for him to get a win. I mean, that sucked.
Only surrendered 2 hits, 14 strikeouts, and then what's his nuts? The boy band looking relief pitcher. Ashley, you should know this.
Griffin Jacks.
Graffy Jacks. He came in and gave up the.
I will say this: if Joe Ryan, he pitches twice this week. If Joe Ryan can find his way back to what he looked like when he was starting the season, and you team him with Sonny Gray, and I've said this before, they've got 3 starters for the postseason that give them a very legitimate chance to advance in the postseason. Starting pitching is obviously extremely important when you get to the playoffs. We all know this from the history of 87 and 91. And those 3 guys are fantastic when they're all 3 on. And
Ryan's last start, he looked pretty damn solid, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did, but he's not quite to where he was when he started the season. Now, like I said, he pitches twice this week, so hopefully he can start to get in a groove a little bit. But they've got a legitimate shot with those 3 guys starting pitching.
Pablo Lopez's 14 strikeouts was the most by a Twins starter since Frankie Liriano struck out 15 against the Oakland Athletics July 13th, 2012. Sure. I believe that was a home game, and I was at that game. Me and the Big Al were at that game, by God. Sunny gray tonight. Now, they got a pretty good team coming to town now. Friggin' Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Yep.
Sunny gray tonight, 6:40 on Bally Sports. Pretty good friggin' club. Oh, Tampa damn Bay. All for you hockey fans, and we've been talking a little bit of hockey with some of these old throwback jerseys you still got hanging in the closet. Hockey fans, Jamie Langenbrunner.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like he's been
Cloquet,
inducted.
Right?
Yeah, from Cloquet, Minnesota. One of my all-time favorites, Jamie Langenbrunner, going into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Which he should.
Yes.
Dustin Brown going in. That's what it sounds like to me. I would hate that someone would text in and say that this is just the final candidates. I believe this is all official. Langenbrunner, Dustin Brown. Some of you might remember Brian Burke, who's a local guy, and he GM'd a bunch of clubs. You guys remember Brian Burke?
Yep.
And there's some others I'm probably missing here. But Jamie Langenbrunner, what a solid player, smart player, tough as nails. Played in the NHL for, 15, 16 years. Won a cup with the Stars. Maybe one other. Did he win more than one cup? I can't remember. But that'll be great. When's the last time anyone went through the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame up there in Evelyn? For me, it's been a
Never.
good
38 years.
Up there. No.
Pardon me?
Gone 38 years without going up there to see
None
it.
of you have ever been there?
Have not.
No.
Oh, really? Oh, it's been a good decade for me. But, yeah, well, we used to go up that way a lot. We go through Evelyn a lot. We go to Tunis. You guys know Tunis, right?
Nope.
It's a gentleman's club there. And
Nope.
My dad and I would always go to Tunis, then we'd head up the Hockey Hall of Fame. Road trips up there.
Hand in hand.
Sometimes we're hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
Remember, Jamie Langenbrunner was part of the ZZ Pops line.
That's a cool name.
In New Jersey. You know, some of these, they have these, like the French Connection and the Grind line and the Grumpy Old Men. These NHL lines will give themselves a nickname. The ZZ Pops line, if I remember, was early in Zach's career, so it was Travis Zajac, there's a Z, Zach Parise, there's another, and then the Pops came from Langenbrunner being older than the Hills. You follow the gimmick there?
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
That was cute, isn't it, Cubby?
I love it.
ZZ Pops. This is disgusting. Chris Chelios will have his number 7 jersey retired by the Blackhawks this hockey season. Like to sneak into that game and throw a bag of urine on the ice.
I'm surprised he didn't have that retired already.
Chris Chelios. Blackhawks.
Oh, come on.
No, it's not over yet, Randy.
Let it go.
The rivalry's not over. I'm not letting it go till Chelios and I are nose to nose. Well, no, he had a great career. Sorry I blew up. Blackhawks are going to retire his number. I'll be there. I'm going to throw a bag of urine on the ice.
How are you going to? Are you going to? Is it going to be your urine? You going to pee in that bag yourself? How are you going to do it?
You're going to have to sneak the bag in and then go to the bathroom and do your ding and then throw it on the ice.
Yeah.
You know what? Throw that stocking cap in the bag too. That'll really make it smell. Jesus.
I'm not throwing any urine on the ice. I don't know. There's not much else going on around here. I mean, Randy, you want an update on this from this listener who went to your home? Let's see if anyone remembers this. Like a week ago, a listener texted us and said, I'm headed to the Vegas of the Midwest, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
Okay, this was Killer Jesus, and he's emailed me with an update on his trip to the Vegas of the Midwest, Randy's hometown, Cedar Rapids.
Town that never sleeps.
He says, my trip to the Vegas of the Midwest was great. I was able to see Randy's statue. I was able to get up close and take a picture with it, but the lines...
you could pay homage.
Yes, the lines were very long. Did you know it's tradition for men to leave a comb at the feet of Randy's statue?
I thought he threw a bag of urine at it.
They leave a comb at the feet of his statue to honor his magnificent hair. Women rub the butt of the statue for good luck.
I've heard that. And I've heard that the statue's butt, despite being made out of bronze, it's softer than Randy's real butt. That's how good a shape Randy's in.
Oh, man.
Now, when this listener, Killer Jesus, said he was going to Cedar Rapids, you said, you better go to Leonardo's.
Leonardo's Pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, Killer Jesus says I
did.
did.
He go?
He did.
Oh, he did. Good.
I did eat at Leonardo's. The food was fantastic. The whole place looked so cool. Great 50s vibe to it. I did leave a note on my table to recommend. Oh, to name a meal after Randy. Wouldn't that be an honor to have a meal
That
named
would
after
be
you?
quite
That'd be
the
so
honor.
cool.
And he has some recommendations for a meal or a signature drink or whatever that they could name after you.
My buddies would die if they showed up at Leonardo's and there was a meal on the menu.
Yeah. Do you want to hear his suggestions? Will be Randy's Ravishing Rump Roast. The Ass Man Garita. It'd be a signature Randy Shaver margarita. Oh, gross. And dipping sauce called Sexy Shaver's Sauce.
I don't know about that.
Pretty sick. There's going to be a hair in there, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Have a great day, Killer Jesus.
Glad you could visit the Vegas of the Midwest.
The motherland.
Yes.
That's where you came from, by God. All right. Oh, wow. That's a pretty good poke for a Monday, I think, fellas.
A lot to talk about. I mean, this is going to be a busy month. There's a lot of things going on. Obviously, with the Twins being in the postseason, it's going to be fun to see them finish these last 2 weeks and try to stay healthy. That's going to be the number one thing, and get their rotation set up for the playoffs and figure out who they're going to play too. That's going to be the other thing.
God, who do they not want to play? We're going to talk to Dick tomorrow. Maybe we'll ask Dick this.
Let's do that. I think that would be a really good conversation because there's quite a few.
Every other team in the American League scares me. Houston.
Well,
right now, if the season ended today, they would
Seattle.
play Tampa.
They
Sorry, not Tampa. Toronto.
Toronto doesn't worry me as much.
Toronto or Seattle.
But Houston,
Toronto or Seattle.
Seattle. Who am I missing?
Toronto. I mean, both have
Tampa
good
Bay.
starting pitching.
Well, we'll ask Dick what he thinks tomorrow.
But that would be a home series for the Twins, correct?
Yep. All three games would be at home.
All 3 games at home.
You know Houston's going to win the World Series again. God dang it.
No, I don't know about that.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna predict that the Orioles win the American League.
Oh, I forgot about Baltimore.
That'd be awesome.
I'm telling you, the Orioles have, and they're completely healthy. I mean, God dang, they're good.
Yeah, I completely forgot about those guys. F me.
Grayson Rodriguez has been pitching his butt off. This young rookie they brought up in July.
But I'm sticking with what I said a couple months ago. This is the year the Viking. This is the year the Twins bust somebody's balls in the playoffs.
They might be. I mean, at least snap the losing streak, right?
Yeah.
At least snap the losing streak.
I'm saying they're going to win a series. They're going to bust somebody's dreams into pieces. Like I'm going to do Chris Chelios at that Jersey retirement. What?
If that happens, if they win a series, then anything. I mean, obviously, anything's possible. We know that from '87 and '91. Anything is possible. But to win a series and then have to get into, I'm assuming it would be a best of 7 after that. Is that right, or a best of 5?
I think the next one is 5, and then the ALCS is 7.
That's what I believe it to be, Randy.
Well, shorter series, I think, obviously, in some ways might benefit the Twins if that starting rotation works out the way you want it to. So
there you go.
I don't know. It's going to be fun.
I'm very much looking forward to the playoffs. Absolutely.
You look over the National League, you've got the Braves, who are amazing. You've got the Dodgers, the Brewers. Yeah.
The Brewers.
The Brewers.
No, I'm not.
Come on.
I'm backing them all the way. I just got a couple funny. I've gotten some funny text messages this year from Brewers fans. They're funny people. All right, there you go. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Randy and Brad. You on Wednesday.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks very much. We'll be back before you know it.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, Minnesota. CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.
You loved Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now get to know her on Give Them Lala.
I feel like I have friends in this camera.
I know. I love that you're looking at the camera. No, you do have friends.
No, I know.
Anyone
I feel
watching
like they're
you.
all here.
Yes.
We're all just like hanging out. Ocean's very into thumbs up right now. And she's like this in her face. Thumbs up. We do it all the time. She loves that face.
I love that. Give one to your friends.
Watch what Lala is talking about on YouTube or search for Give Them Lala wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show 93X.
It is Monday morning, and by damn, we do appreciate you listening. We do. 93X Half-assed morning show. Check it in here at 8:31. You know, we talked a little bit last week about Skewell being back in. We did. We talked a little bit. We didn't cover college. Some of us attended college classes, didn't we?
I think all of us went to college, right?
No, I didn't. I mean, I went for one day. Wapple, did you attend college?
I mean, Brown College, technically.
So no?
I consider that
So
college.
no.
Yeah, it's schooling after high school. Yeah.
No, we don't want it to be considered
No.
college, do we, Wapple?
Okay.
No.
Okay,
No.
okay.
It costs more than college.
Oh, boy, did it cost one.
That's insane.
Wapple and I, we did the cute little Brown Institute thing, but the rest of you attended. What?
I actually did have, like, elective classes and stuff like that. I think the program really changed ever since you went in and I went in.
Well, you could do it two different ways, right? You could get the certificate, so just the broadcasting stuff, and then you went the 2-year route.
Nope, not when I went there. You could only do the 2-year.
Lame.
Oh.
So wait a minute. What did you do?
I had to, like, go through elective classes and, like, do general education classes like English class, literature.
Really?
Yeah, I had to go through those classes.
I'm going to say you didn't attend those too often,
No,
based on how we know you now.
I did really good in college.
You took language classes?
Really well in college. Really well in college.
It doesn't show, Wapple. It doesn't show at all.
Yeah, we had to take math. We had to take, like, Greek mythology.
Oh, brutal.
fun.
What
I
a
love those
nightmare.
classes.
In order to get a degree in radio?
Yes.
Well, Jesus, criminy, I'm happy I wasn't part of that.
General education.
Okay, Wapple and I, we had a lesser kind of a thing. Dana went to St. Cloud and the University of Minnesota. Ashley, you went where?
I went to Century College, just a technical college.
And Josh went to Moorhead State.
Harvard, and then I went to, you're right, Moorhead and Normandale.
Got a lot of ping pong in those Normandale days.
I sure did.
Day,
Yeah.
One day, I remember, if you want to count this, North Hennepin Community College.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've got a program I'd be interested in right now.
This was before I dove into radio school. I just had myself convinced that, boy, I better get a college education. Maybe I was 22, 21, maybe, yeah, in that neighborhood, 20 or 21, because I started here when I was about 23 or 4. But anyway, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just convinced myself, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I signed up for, I wish I could tell you what classes I signed up for at North Hennepin Community College. And I walked in, I sat down, and it was honestly within about 5 minutes of the professor, teacher, whatever you want to call them, beginning to explain the curriculum. Maybe within 5 minutes, I told myself, yep, I'm not coming back. And I never did. I sat through, I think, an hour, and my next task was to move on to this class later that day and then another one later on in the day. So I did 1 hour and I went home, never went back.
That was that, huh?
That was the end of that. I just knew myself too well, and I said, this is ridiculous. Who am I kidding?
Well, I think the attitude's changed, because when we were growing up, if you didn't go to college, people looked at you like you were crazy.
True.
Well, you're going to be a derelict. Your whole life, you're going to amount to nothing, and I don't think people feel that way anymore. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
I still felt that kind of pressure when graduating high school, that I had to go to college. There was no other route.
Yeah, same here. It was like, you're not going to college? Are you going to go to jail? What's going to,
I mean, I even got crap for choosing not to go to, like, a big university like Mankato or Winona or something. Like, people looked down on me because of that.
Here's a listener texting in, and they simply, this is exact. At least I'm trying to present this text the way they meant for it to be presented. The listener says, "Oh, God, I went to Brown. It was so stupid. I had a great time there. Wapple, your experience sounded like real work.
Yeah.
Mine was not. Certainly, we committed ourselves to learning how to broadcast and how to run a board and some of the techie stuff, but really more than anything, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hands-on stuff, and I met some good buddies there, and it was a great time. It was a lot of money, but I had a great time. I was shocked at how many people just made no effort at Brown and just kind of showed up drunk, showed up high. They must have come from money.
Yeah, because if you're paying with your own money for those kind of things, you don't do that.
Now, these people did not come off like they came from money. They did not look like but that must be the answer because they just made no effort. There were only...
Boy, I don't know, because as you know, I didn't come from money, and when I tried really hard at Moorhead, and then after a semester I came back, went to Normandale, and I'd say the first year of Normandale, all I did was play ping pong. I'd show up, and I paid for everything. I mean, I paid years and years for showing up at school playing ping pong, doing nothing. I mean, I got zeros, and I, for whatever reason, I decided to register for classes like an idiot and just not go.
The difference I could see between your situation there and the folks I went to Brown with is these people were 27, 28, 30 years old. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I would excuse a kid for behaving the way you did when you checked into college, Josh. Some of these people were into their 30s. But anyway, there were only 3 of us that really made an effort. I just didn't understand that. Especially something that was it really was quite easy and fun. Why are you not? I don't know.
That's what I didn't get was like you said, the radio portion of it was a blast and learned a lot and just got to mess around.
Forgot everything though, didn't you? I know I did.
Yeah, and you just got to mess around and like play with boards and read commercials and stuff like that. It's like, how aren't you doing that? That's like the fun.
Yeah.
I also heard that the knock on that place was they'd push you to towns with 17, 20 people. They'd discourage you from applying someplace like that.
There's no doubt about that, Josh.
Yeah, my first job offer I had was in Mobridge, South Dakota.
Oh. And you were underqualified for that.
And then my second one was a news director in Laverne, Minnesota.
Josh, it was shocking. I was shocked. And by the way, I got a text from Beef Cannon Jesus. He wants me to ask a college graduate Wapple where the letter W is in the alphabet. I heard those same rumors when I was at Brown. People said, the crappy part about it is they're going to push you to go far, far from home to the middle of nowhere. And I thought, okay, well, we'll see, I thought maybe they were just blowing smoke. I already had been hired here before I was graduated from Brown. And I remember I had to go to what did they call that? You sit with the dean, the final frontier, whatever they called it in the business.
An exit interview.
Exit interview. Thank you. And so I went, and the guy says, well, I got a gig for you here in North Dakota and one in Iowa. We think you're perfect for these gigs. I said, well, yeah, I already got a job at 90. At the time, it was 93.7 The Edge. Oh, no, you can't take that job. And I said, I've already been hired. I'm already on air. Why shouldn't I? Yeah. Not that I was planning on following their orders. I just wanted to hear what they had to say. Mm-hmm. And they said, they won't teach you anything. You need to start from the ground up. Those are the jobs that will.
Okay.
What are you talking about? I mean, it was so bizarre.
Almost like jealousy. It's weird.
Well, it almost it came off kind of crooked.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? What? And they really, honestly, they shook their heads in disapproval and said, you're making a great mistake by starting here in your hometown in a mid-major market. I just didn't understand.
I thought part of it was they wanted to pad their placement numbers. That's what I had heard.
Oh.
So they can say,
exactly right.
Look, virtually 100% of our graduates go on to do radio or television, whichever side they're going to.
It was so bizarre, but what they still couldn't take credit for me because they didn't get me the job?
I don't know. In that case, obviously, that's different.
At any rate, what is those of you who went to college, what were the goofy-ass classes that you signed up for just because it was going to be easy and ridiculous? Josh, you took a power walking class? Was that not?
Fitness walking, Nick.
Fitness walking,
yes.
Anyone else took a bizarre class while in college?
The only two I can think of is I took ceramics, but I love ceramics, so that wasn't too out of the loop. But I did take this weird class that was supposed to be in replacement of a math class because there was a way that I didn't have to take this really crappy math class. And it ended up being the hardest class I've ever taken in my life. Instead of numbers, they used like infinity symbols and like upside down T's. I had no idea what was happening.
Maybe that's where the W comes in.
Honestly, there probably is.
The two of the classes I was hoping would be slough classes were the most difficult, and that was children's literature. I thought, okay, I'm an adult.
I can read Green Eggs and Ham.
Dude, that was tough. And then the other one was meteorology.
That is hard.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Even at my school, people would take that as like a easier class, and it ended up being really difficult.
Because I was told astronomy was tough. Like, people said, don't take that, take something else. So I thought, meteorology, that's got to be pretty easy, and that was impossible.
You thought you were just going to watch tornado videos.
I just pointed at green screen and talk about fronts and whatnot.
Folks are texting in saying, I've heard these stories before, but they're always fun. They took a bowling class. They took a ice skating class, and they played hockey, for 18 years before they took an ice skating. See what I'm saying? They already knew how to skate. Big Al took an ice skating class in college, and the sumbitch was already a hockey player.
Bowling, man, that'd be great.
Fun.
But I suppose you could run into a hard-ass teacher who, really talks about the physics of it or something.
It was offered at the U of M, but for some reason I never got into it.
Meat cutting? Is that for real? Meat
That
cutting?
makes sense, I guess, for butchers and stuff.
Listener, I'm reading a text message from a listener. Meat cutting.
I would absolutely do that.
Fencing. Okay. Here are some more bizarre college classes that are 100% real at various universities. Oh, man. Texas University, or University of Texas, I would imagine. Harry Styles and the Cult of Celebrity, Identity, the Internet, and European Pop Culture. That's all one class?
Man.
Harry Styles and the Cult of Celebrity, Identity, the Internet, and European Pop Culture.
Kind of sounds interesting.
The professor's a big Harry Styles fan. This is a singer, Harry Styles?
He was in the boy band One Direction, and he kind of pulled the Justin Timberlake and went off on his own and became a huge star.
Word.
He does have like a cult-like following,
He does.
too.
You delve into the idea of celebrity and how to use that platform to make change in the world. All right. New York University has a class called 100 Years of Courting, Dating, and Hooking Up on College Campuses. Students can look into the behaviors of college students and how that behavior has changed over the last 100 years. It's a class basically about how dating has changed over the years. Okay.
Well, a former coworker of ours took a pornography class at college.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I remember that story being told.
Where'd she go? Somewhere in California.
I don't remember who it was.
It was Allie.
I think it was Santa Barbara.
Is that where she went?
I think so.
Yeah, she took a porn class.
That's cool.
And she said it was difficult, actually.
I also studied porn in college.
Oh, for how many credits?
Quite none, actually.
Well,
that history of dating class sounds interesting. 100 years of dating until you get to a section from like the 60s, and there's a whole section about your mother or something. She was like the biggest campus tramp of all time.
Well, I recognize her.
Oh, no, Mom!
That would be quite a shock if part of the course covered your promiscuous mother in the 60s. Yeah. I'll tell you what, certainly dating and everything has changed quite a bit, even in the last 25 years. On the topic of this class where you cover 100 years of dating and how it's changed. Even in the last 25 years, it's changed so much with online, this or that. But I'll tell you what hasn't changed when it comes to maybe picking up women out of college, Cubby.
What's that?
Take your dog for a walk.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's all you got to do. We used to bring the best girl in the whole world, Megan Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Megan Marie lived up at St. Cloud State with us. Best girl in the whole Springer Spaniel, sweet. We'd take her for walks. The women would come running out of their apartments to see Megan Marie.
It works on me every time.
Of course it works on you. You're a psycho.
I'm such a sucker.
For dogs.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Absolutely hammered.
On 93X.
Yeah, we'll be busting out of here soon. But first, the brother and damn sisterhood have been texting in about the garbage, obscure, easy as hell college classes they signed up for back in the day, because that's what we've been rapping about. The obscure, easy college classes that you signed up for an easy credit. Here's some of the classes our listeners signed up for. The history of rock and roll.
I bet that'd be fun.
I took that
you guys
class.
Would nail that.
Did you really?
I took it at St. Cloud State. My first semester, I got all A's except for a B in history of rock and roll.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What happened?
Did they make it more difficult than it needed to be, or you just didn't try?
It wasn't so difficult, but he'd do pop quizzes in order to encourage attendance. And on Thursday nights in college, I was busy studying and preparing for other classes that I sometimes missed the Friday morning history of rock and roll. And that he always would do the pop quizzes on Friday mornings when he knew kids were hungover.
Brewing and fermentation. Oh, no. Did it turn you into a douchebag? A dude took a class. What does this say? A dude took a women's studies class because he thought it would help him get laid. Wine tasting was a class offered at a college summers.
I wonder if they're going to do, like, marijuana producing.
Well, they already is.
Yeah,
St. Cloud State does it.
I bet it's pretty widespread at this point, Wapple.
Because, like, the U of M is an agriculture school, so I could see them getting deep into it. And they're in pharmaceutical.
Oh, definitely.
You could teach the class, bro.
or at least a guest speaker.
I mentioned it before. You're like on a different plane when you start talking about that stuff. You're very learned.
I would imagine the U of M already has dozens of marijuana-related courses because we just can't get enough marijuana these days, can we?
And the guest speaker today is some guy named Wapple from Forest Lake who smoked way too much.
Oh, I bet they know you in the community. You don't have to say some guy. They know, oh, yeah, he's our pot king. He knows everything. Somebody had texted in and said they took a beginning guitar class.
Beginner's guitar.
But what they didn't tell the teacher, of course, was that they were an advanced player. And at the end, they had to come up with a solo, and he dominated in one.
How about a guy who took golf in college?
Yeah, I remember that being offered as well.
Another listener says your mom taught butt stuff in college.
Oh, dude. Doesn't seem right. Did I mention this before? Someone said they took fly fishing in college. That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool. That'd be
sweet. You did not mention that before.
I guess I didn't take around for too many of these classes because I knew I had to pay for them. So I didn't want to take like a pointless class if it wasn't going to benefit my degree.
I would need
You have to take some electives, right? I mean, I'm sure that's why they took them.
Yeah, but you can pick electives that also help towards your degree.
I would need some kind of a class to try fly fishing. I'd have that line wrapped around my pecker and the back of my ass. That looks very difficult.
That'd be sweet if they teach you how to make your lures, too.
Oh, that would be sick.
You know what class I'd like to... I was just thinking about this on my way in, strangely enough. Learning how to drive with a trailer. And I want to be able to back up just within, you've seen some of those people with trailers and how good they are.
Yeah.
Like backing stuff in.
No doubt.
They have to have some sort of class you could take for that. Maybe driver's ed courses provide those kind of classes. Maybe?
If they have that, I'll have to Google it.
Yeah,
I would love.
Cool.
Now, do I have a trailer? No. Does my vehicle have a trailer hitch? No, it does not.
Do you have any need for a trailer?
Sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah, sometimes.
You don't have to pay anybody a dime, Josh. Just go see my dad.
There you go.
My old man could back a frickin'... It's unbelievable watching him do what he does because he was over-the-road truck driver for 40-some years.
That's so impressive to me.
I told you before that, of course, because it saved him $1.50 up at his fishing shack, because it saved him maybe $1. His shed where he stored his boat was on the windiest, crappiest old trail up there in the middle of...
That's awesome.
You couldn't go to the main shed where everyone else was storing their boats. No, I got to have that extra $1 for Budweiser. So I'm going to pick this crappy shed in the woods where he had to back around down trees, and it was just the oddest. But he could do it. He could do it with his head up his ass.
That's impressive, man.
Didn't you tell a story one time about him when a buddy of his was trying to get the boat, get down into the thing, back the boat into the water, and your dad was pretty hammered, a little buzzed up, and then the guy kept missing. He goes, "Get out of there! I'll do it myself. I'll show you how it's done."
Well, it sounds familiar. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that happened. I don't remember exactly the story, but yeah, he's a maestro with it. It's unbelievable the skill set he has, and I wish I could mirror that.
Bug Eye Wagon Jesus says of my mom that she must have taken a lot of difficult classes at college because she got a D in every class. Come on, man.
Yeah. Let me roll through these real quick. These are some other bizarre college classes that are 100% real at different schools. At Arizona State University, you can take a class called The Psychology of Taylor Swift.
Dana, I bet you'd do pretty well there.
Yeah, I feel like I could teach that one myself.
It focuses on the popularity of Taylor Swift and what she would do in certain social and psychological situations.
That is so bizarre. Okay.
Aliens, psychics, and ghosts.
That'd be fun.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, you'd think so.
That's the thing with a lot of these. They take a cool topic like Taylor Swift or, Harry Styles or something like that, and then...
I thought you said cool topic. Go on.
But then they dumb it down. Like I remember I had a buddy who took like a history of video game course, and it was so boring, he said.
Whiskey School at Texas Christian University. Whiskey School.
Boy, people will talk about whiskey. They're pretty knowledgeable teams, too.
That makes me think I had to take a health class, and so I took drug and health education, thinking like, I'm going to nail this. Easy. That's one of the only classes I failed miserably in.
Well, I imagine you need to know all of the elements and the chemicals that make a drug, and I mean, right?
It was way more complex than I thought it was going to be.
You probably have to know what exactly is in a meth rock and what exactly makes up give me another drug.
Crack rock.
Crack rock, right?
It was a lot more involved than I thought it was going to be.
Very science-y, and I would be in real trouble.
My girlfriend was working as like a treatment counselor, a nurse there, so she would like draw blood and stuff like that. And sometimes she would tell me like what different patients had when they came in. She'd be like, yeah, this patient was doing this, that, and this. And I'm like, oh, he was on this. And she's like, how did you know that? Every single time I got it right. She's like, what are you doing?
So you can monitor the behavior of someone and see what drug they're on?
Yeah. And if she's like, yeah, we had to give them this medication to help them get down, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's because they were on this, so they were doing this and that.
How do you know that? Just from experience?
Yeah, just experience.
Huh. Wow, impressive.
You can take a class at Michigan State University called Surviving the Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
At USC, you can take a selfie class.
Of course you can.
That's unbelievable.
Of course it's USC, too.
You analyze the meaning behind selfies.
Oh, I bet that class is hard.
Why it's all over social media.
I'll tell you, that zombie class, the more I think about it, I could see that being very useful.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're in the apocalypse, I'd be so screwed. Shoot, if the internet went down, Dana's dead.
I'm dead.
Dana's going to die if that happens.
I'm running out to the first bridge and jumping off.
I wouldn't know how to survive off the land or anything like that.
Do they have classes, just like basic survival classes, I wonder? That'd be sweet.
Just surviving what
exactly?
Yeah,
like what to do if,
like
say, you're in the middle of the woods and you have nothing on you?
I bet you could find one of those. I taught a class once in high school.
Really?
Yes, I did.
What class?
For a half hour. A really cool teacher. I think he's still alive. Got so tired of me talking so much about Kiss that he allowed me a half hour to teach Kisstory in front of my fellow students in class. And I did.
I bet you had a blast.
I loved it. I loved it. I mapped out, the origins of the band, where they all came from, how they met, the first songs they ever recorded together, their first tours. I got to about 1976 and we ran out of time. But it was really fun. I was so glad the guy let me with my what do you call it in the business? My fellow students were annoyed. I'm sure they hated it, but I got a kick out of it.
I did a whole report that went a little too long on Randy Rhoads.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, guitar player for Ozzy Osbourne.
You had to do a presentation?
Yeah, whole thing. And I loved it. And I thought, I'm really educating my fellow student. But like you said, I have a feeling nobody was really too interested other than that. I was obsessed with Randy at that time.
Oh, wow.
I still have that somewhere. I think
you
I
have
saved
what?
The presentation.
Do you have it on video?
No, like the paper that I wrote. That kind of stuff.
I think you let me see that at one point.
Yeah, I think you read it.
Yeah, it was very well done.
Best of luck to Kiss My Butt Cancer Jesus going in for some tests today. Fingers crossed for you. Shout out to my wife, Crystal Subaru Jesus, says nibbles and bites Jesus. Safe travels. This is from Back Dimple Jesus, who said, I'd like to wish safe travels to my son and his girlfriend. They left for California yesterday to start a new adventure in life. Happy birthday to Logan. And hey, you with the face, Jesus, sending some birthday shout-outs. One for his daughter, Ari, turning 30. His grandbaby, Noah, turning 1 on Wednesday. And then his son, Tristan, who will be 27 on Friday.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Regular furnace maintenance can be your wallet's best friend, slashing energy bills and warding off those inconvenient breakdowns that seem to strike at the worst moments. Don't leave it to chance. Schedule your tune-up today at standardheating.com.